Welcome to HOJO Radio.
Halo, everybody, halo. Halo is the shampoo that glorifies your hair. So halo, everybody, halo. For softer, lively curls and brighter, sparkling hair. So hello, everybody, halo. Halo shampoo, halo.
Our next popular broadcast aired from January 7th, 1941 to October 5th, 1952. It was created by producer Hyman Brown and based on the imprint given to the mystery novels of Simon & Schuster. In all, 526 episodes were broadcast. We proudly present to you Inner Sanctum.
Good evening, creeps. Tonight, your Mystery Playhouse invites you to listen to Inner Sanctum Mysteries. Come on out, Mr. Host.
Good evening, friends of the Inner Sanctum. This is your host to welcome you through the squeaking door. Well, been shopping around for a nice case of murder? Of course you have. And you've come to the right place because the characters on this program simply kill themselves to keep you amused. Why, only the other day we were accused of making murder our business. But we wouldn't do that, friend. Oh, no. Because that would be mixing business with pleasure. And we consider it a pleasure to give some stiff for business. And now, friends, tonight's story is a triangle tale concerning a man, a woman, and a murderer. You've heard it said that those who laugh last laugh best. But we're going to prove that it never pays to get into a laughing contest with a ghost. Because ghosts always get the last laugh.
I know he's dead. Body's been in the grave for weeks. Yet, although I tell myself it's impossible, I can hear him laugh. That raucous, mocking sound haunts me. Same laughter I heard for the first time in the courtroom. He had never laughed during all the weeks of the trial. Never even smiled. This day, when he came before me for sentencing.
John Spencer, you have been found guilty of murder in the first degree. You wish to make a statement before sentence is imposed?
I killed Hicks. I'm willing to admit it now. But he was no good. He got just what he deserved. And everybody knows it. I'm not a killer. I never committed a crime before. And all I ask now is a chance.
John Spencer, the jury took all that into consideration when it recommended life imprisonment. However, I have the power to ignore that recommendation. It is my firm conviction that to allow one man to take the law into his own hands is to encourage others to do likewise. I therefore override the recommendation of the jury and sentence you to be hung by the neck until dead.
No. Judge, please. I've got a girl. We were going to be married. All I ask is to live so I can see her once in a while.
Should have thought of that before you committed murder.
It's easy for you to tell me what I should have done. But you won't always be on top. Maybe someday you'll be down here where I am. When that happens, I hope they throw the book at you just like you're doing to me.
Bailiff, remove the prisoner.
Won't I be laughing when that happens? Wherever I am, I'll be laughing fit to bust.
Same old story. Prisoner pleads innocence or guilty with good cause. Asks mercy. When clemency is refused, condemned man curses judge and hopes that judge will someday find himself in a similar plight. Spencer's outburst failed to move me in the slightest. I'd heard it many times before. I went home to forget about the Spencer case.
Richard? Is that you, Richard?
Yes, dear. I'll come in as soon as I've freshened up.
Come right now. I've been waiting here all day. Surely it's not too much to ask to just...
All right, Flora. I'm coming.
Richard, I want you to meet my new nurse, Margaret Cummings. This is Judge Thornton, Miss Cummings. How do you do?
Miss Cummings, haven't we met before?
That's hardly likely. It's probably my face. It's so ordinary.
On the contrary, Miss Cummings. I should say your face is rather unusual.
Richard, suppose you stop that silly chatter about faces and talk to Miss Cummings about her duty.
Very well. Come into my study, Miss Cummings. We can talk better there. Now, sit down, please. There's not much to say, really. In the first place, my wife's heart condition isn't really dangerous.
Yes, I gathered that from Dr. Fletcher.
Oh, he told you about my wife, eh?
Oh, yes.
You're a professional person, nurse, and I believe in frankness. It makes things easier. My wife is 11 years my senior, getting on past middle age. She is a bit worried. Not that I give her any grounds for it. Jealous. You understand?
Perfectly.
She's not an easy person to get along with. You'll have to humor her.
I'll do my best.
And, Miss Cummings.
Yes.
I was just wondering where it was that I saw you before. Escapes me. You know, Miss Cummings, your face is rather haunting. That was how it began. We played a game during those first few weeks. I would ask, Miss Cummings, where was it that I first saw you?
Don't you remember yet?
No, I don't.
Well, I do. And someday, if you're nice, I'll tell you.
We would laugh together. Having the girl in the house made me feel young again. It didn't last. It ended one evening in Laura's room.
Richard.
Yes, dear.
Put down that newspaper. I want to talk to you.
I'm listening.
Don't you think you're going a bit too far, Richard?
Too far? What do you mean?
I mean Miss Cummings.
Oh.
I won't stand for it. I won't allow you to disgrace me in my own home with a woman who's little more than a servant.
Oh, Laura, for heaven's sake.
I may be a bedridden invalid, but there is a limit.
You're jumping to ridiculous conclusions, Laura.
Ridiculous, am I? I suppose you'll deny you're in love with Miss Cummings. That you've been carrying on with her right under my nose.
Certainly I'll deny it.
I've got eyes, Richard. I've seen you two whispering together. I've watched how you look.
Oh, you're talking utter nonsense. There's nothing between me and Miss Cummings.
Nothing?
Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Well, then, I'll give you a chance to prove what you say. I don't want Miss Cummings here. Dismiss her.
You want me to dismiss her?
Yes, Richard. I do.
Miss Cummings, well, this is going to be rather unpleasant. You see my wife?
Yes, I know. She wants me to leave.
Yes. How did you know?
I couldn't help overhearing the conversation.
Well, then you also know why she wants you to leave.
Yes. But you warned me when I first came here that she was jealous.
It's been very pleasant having you here.
Thank you.
I'm going to miss you. Miss Cummings, could I have your home address?
Of course. Why do you want it?
I hope you won't think me presumptuous, but... well... perhaps we might be able to see each other.
Would that be wise?
No, it wouldn't be wise. But I might as well face it. I couldn't hide it from Laura, and now I can't hide it from myself. I love you, Miss Cummings. That matter heard Spencer's laugh for the first time since the day in the courtroom. I set it down to the picture of the imagination born out of a feeling of guilt due to my disloyalty to Laura. I put it out of my mind. I had other things to think about. The slip of paper with Margaret Cummings' address on it was in my pocket. A dozen times during the next week I picked the telephone to call her, but something held me back. It was fear, I guess. Fear that if I saw her again, I would be taking a final, irrevocable step. And then I couldn't stand it any longer without seeing her. I dialed her number.
Hello?
Is that you, Margaret?
Yes, who is this?
This is Richard.
Richard.
Judge Thornton.
Oh, hello. How are you? It's been so long I thought you'd forgotten me.
There's little chance of that. Could I see you tonight, Margaret?
Why, yes, of course. Come over as soon as you like.
I dressed carefully. Examining myself in the mirror, I saw a tall man, still on the right side of 50. Still trim in figure and distinguished in appearance. When I got to Margaret's apartment, my heart was beating fast. Like a boy on his first date. Somehow, I don't know quite how it happened. She was in my arms. I was kissing her.
Oh, Richard.
My darling.
Oh, no, we're being foolish.
Sit down, darling. Here, beside me.
Like this?
It's perfect. Margaret. Would you marry me?
Mary, you can't be serious.
I was never more in earnest in my life.
Aren't you forgetting a little detail?
No, I'm not forgetting about Laura. She has a weak heart. She may die. And if she does...
I wouldn't count on it. Your wife takes very good care of herself. She may live to be 100.
But if she should die, would you marry me?
I don't know. It's not fair to ask me now. Not while your wife is still alive. Ask me later.
Oh, Richard. You have a pleasant evening at the club?
I didn't go to the club, Laura.
No.
No. I lied to you. I spent the evening with Margaret Cummings.
Richard.
You were right. I'm in love with her. I never knew what love meant before. I can't live without her.
You're mad. You don't know what you're saying.
I want a divorce, Laura.
Divorce? No.
I want it immediately.
You can't do this to me. Oh, my heart.
What?
Now see what you've done.
Laura.
Oh, the shock. My pills, Richard. Give them to me. Hurry. Hurry, Richard.
I knew she was pretending the heart attack.
Oh, Richard.
Hoping to play on my sympathy. That was Laura's favorite trick. It always worked before. Not this time. This time I would pretend until I was ready to act. I gave her the pills, watched her take them and sink back on the pillow.
Oh. Thank you, Richard.
Feel better now?
Yes, dear, much better. I don't know what I'd have done without you here. I would have died. Oh, Richard, say you didn't mean what you said before. Don't you see I couldn't go on living without you?
You won't have to, Laura.
Then you won't leave me for that girl.
I'll take care of you. Here, let me make you more comfortable. Pillow needs rearranging.
Yes, it does. Richard, what are you doing?
I'm fixing the pillow.
I don't want to say.
Lie still. Stop twisting around. This is much different from a heart attack. Laura, she's dead. Dr. Fletcher?
Yes?
This is Judge Thornton. Please come quickly, Doctor. My wife has had a heart attack.
It happened during an argument.
It was nothing important, Doctor. Just a domestic quarrel. And suddenly she had the attack. I gave her the pills, but by that time it was too late.
It's too bad.
I'd only known that her condition had become so dangerous.
Oh, Judge, you've nothing to reproach yourself for. These things happen.
Will you take care of the formalities, Doctor?
Oh, yes, of course.
The death certificate?
I'll list the cause as failure of the heart.
There was no need to act the part of the stricken husband after Dr. Fletcher left. I stood looking down at Laura's body. She was dead. And Dr. Fletcher's certificate would clear me of any suspicion of murder. I was free. Free to marry Margaret. I walked to Margaret's apartment that night. The street was dark. Empty. I had the uncomfortable feeling that I was being watched. Followed. And then I heard footsteps behind me. I hurried my pace. The man behind me did likewise. Frightened as I was, I decided to stop and confront the follower. He came toward me. His face and figure shadowy in the dark. What do you want? Why are you following me?
You ought to know, Judge Thornton.
Who are you? Come closer so I can... Spencer. John Spencer. It can't be. You're dead.
Dead, am I? Well, you ought to know, Judge.
Now, take it easy, mister. Take it easy. Now, just tell me what happened.
I was being followed, officer. So I turned around to see who it was.
And did you see who it was?
Yes. And that's why I fainted. The man following me was a dead man.
He was, what's that?
The man following me is dead. I know he's dead, officer.
I ought to run you in. You're crazy.
I had intended to tell Margaret that Laura was dead. I meant to ask her to marry me. But the encounter on the street drove those thoughts out of my mind. Arriving at her apartment, I went directly to the window and looked out. And there, across the street, leaning against the wall, I saw John Spencer.
Richard, I'm insulted.
What?
You didn't kiss me. You haven't even said hello.
Oh, I'm sorry, dear. That man across the street, he can't be real. And yet, if he isn't...
What man, Richard?
Don't you see him?
No, there's no one across the street.
He was there a moment ago. I turned my head to talk to you, and now he's gone.
Darling, you're trembling. You must be sick.
Don't look at me like that.
Richard, what's the matter?
I guess I am sick. I'd better go and have a talk with Dr. Fletcher.
Yes, I remember the Spencer case very well, Judge Thornton. You could have spared Spencer's life, but didn't. And now you imagine that he follows you?
Yes.
But the man is dead.
And it was his ghost that followed me. His ghost I spoke to. His ghost that laughs.
There are no ghosts, Judge Thornton. With one exception. The ghosts we carry about inside us.
What do you mean?
Well, these things you hear and see, these are hallucinations brought on by feelings of guilt. Spencer's been dead for weeks. So the question is, why should you experience guilt feelings at this late date?
I don't know.
Well, psychiatry has an explanation. Quite often in such cases, one refuses to face the guilt object and transfers his guilt feelings to some other person.
What are you driving at?
I'm suggesting that your guilt feelings are not caused by the Spencer incident. And I'm going to ask you a blunt question. Did you murder your wife?
Why, of all the idiotic...
Now, just a moment, Judge. Just a moment. I've been rather uneasy about the circumstances of Mrs. Thornton's death.
But you yourself diagnosed it as a heart attack.
I accepted what you told me that night. A superficial examination of the body did indicate such a conclusion, yes, but your wife's cardiac condition was mild. Now, your guilt feelings lead me to suspect...
This murder talk is ridiculous. Were there any signs of struggle, any marks of violence? Of course not.
Mrs. Thornton might have been suffocated.
Oh, nonsense.
Perhaps. At any rate, I intend to recommend to the coroner that an autopsy be performed.
An autopsy?
Yes, it would determine whether or not death was due to suffocation. You should have no objection if I am mistaken.
You meddling fool.
Judge Thornton, put down that paper.
You are so clever.
Stay away from me.
I've gone too far now to stop at another. I lost my head. I should have agreed to the autopsy. That would have given me a day or two in which to plan my escape. But now, as things were, it would be only a matter of hours before Fletcher's body was discovered. My thoughts twisted and turned in panic.
Maybe someday you'll be down here where I am. Won't I be laughing when that happens? Wherever I am, I'll be laughing fit to bust.
I ran like a frightened child. I needed help, and there was no one to turn to. Margaret. She loved me. She'd help me. I went to Margaret and told her what had happened.
You killed your wife.
For you. So we could be married.
And then Dr. Fletcher.
I had to kill her, Margaret. He was going to recommend an autopsy.
Why did you come here?
We've got to run away. We still have an hour or two. If we could charter a plane to Canada or Mexico.
What makes you think I'd run away with you?
I thought you loved me.
Don't be stupid. I'm going to turn you over to the police.
Margaret, you can't mean
Can I? Just watch me.
Margaret, listen before you pick up that phone. Even if you don't love me, even if you won't go away with me, give me a chance. Have mercy.
You make me laugh. Judge Thornton, who never gave anybody else a break, pleading for mercy. Well, turn around and ask the man behind you for mercy.
Behind?
That's right.
Spencer. John Spencer.
Take another look, Judge.
No, you're not John Spencer. There's a resemblance, but you're not John Spencer.
I'm his brother.
You're the man that was following me.
That's right.
I was tricked. Led on by Margaret to kill my wife, and forced by you to betray myself to Dr. Fletcher. But why? Why, Margaret? Why did you do this?
For revenge.
Revenge?
Yes. The first day I came to your house, you thought my face was familiar. Well, now I'll tell you where it was that you first saw me. It was in the courtroom at John Spencer's trial.
Courtroom? Yes.
Yes, remember how he begged for mercy? He told you he had a girl, that he was engaged to be married, and you could have given him his life. But you sentenced him to his death.
Were you the girl?
Yes.
Spencer. Did he know about this?
All this was his plan. His revenge. Hello, operator. Give me police headquarters. I want to report a murder. Yes, that's right, a murder. Tell them it's very important to get here as soon as they can.
I'm waiting now for the police to come. For the trial. For the sentence, which I know will be death. As I wait, my thoughts go back to the courtroom.
You won't always be on top. Maybe someday you'll be down here where I am. And when that happens, I'll be laughing.
Well, Judge Thornton certainly misjudged Margaret Cummings, which was a grave mistake. Why, he didn't have the ghost of a chance with her. She double-crossed him right into the graveyard. Oh, a word of caution. If you must commit a murder, be sure to select the proper weapon. I suggest a sharp-edged axe, because it provides you with a handy alibi. When the police want to know why you did it, you can claim the killing was accidental.
Well, good night, and thank you, Poison Puss, for your Inner Sanctum story, tonight's performance in the Mystery Playhouse. Until next time, creep. Good night. Sleep tight.
Calcium helps grown-ups to a more vigorous life.
And now there's calcium in hot wheat meal.
Calcium helps your body run smoothly.
And now there's calcium in hot wheat meal.
Calcium helps you to enjoy a more active life.
And now there's calcium in hot wheat meal.
Yes, a 1-ounce serving contains 1/3 of your daily calcium needs. And Post Wheat Meal is a whole wheat cereal, creamy, smooth, delicious, cooks instantly. Get new Post Wheat Meal with more calcium than any other cereal, hot or cold.
HOJO Radio. We're your old-time radio headquarters. Stay tuned.
Good evening, friends of the Inner Sanctum. This is your host inviting you through the squeaking door for another episode in the evening. You feeling chilly? Well, why don't you just lie down right there and warm yourself on our bed of coal? Oh, dear. We feel a little sad this evening. Our pet vampire, Hubert, is straight off the premises. Poor Hubert, he's sort of stupid. Partly bad, you know. Why, Hubert's so dumb he doesn't know his grave from a hole in the ground. Now, if you should find him crawling around your place, don't let him annoy you. After all, vampires can be an awful pain in the neck. All right, so it isn't funny. What do you want? Blood? Tonight's Inner Sanctum Mystery, Tempo in Blood, was written by Ed Adamson and stars Mason Adams in the role of Chick with Everett Sloan as Sanders. All right, folks. Suppose you hang around for a while. When the show's over, I'll have Hubert cut you down. Now, let's get to our story. The thin, pale-faced young man sits before the battered upright piano. For a moment, he just sits there, his eyes staring vacantly, his hands squeezed together in a tight clasp. The hands unfold, and then slowly, unsteadily, the nervous fingers reach for the keyboard.
I think I got it now. Yeah, that's it. That's the way it began. Yeah, now I got it. I got it. I was playing at the Silver Crest, smoking 2x4 gin mill over an 8. I came to hear 6 cents a pound, and
make any difference? Yeah, sort of. Didn't I appear appreciative? Sorry, I should have. You see, I've been following your career very closely for the past few months. Why? To learn all I can about you, study you. Sit down, Chick.
I didn't like the way he was looking at me. All the time he was talking, he kept looking at me like he was burning a hole through my head.
My name is Eric Sanders.
So what's that to me?
I find your music far more stimulating than I appear to. The mad tempo is extremely compatible with my thinking.
Yeah? What kind of thinking?
Thoughts on murder.
What?
You see, Chick, murder is my profession. I'm a criminologist of sorts, a student of murder. You know there's a striking similarity between your music and murder.
Yeah? The way I kill Beethoven and Bach.
Underlying the mad scramble of notes, there's a definite plan. A plot that builds and builds to a wild climax. Most people can't see the reason to it, but I can, Chick. And that's the way it should be with the perfect murder. A crime with no apparent reason. There must be no relationship whatsoever between the murderer and the murderee.
Murderee? I don't dig it.
There's a theory that the human race is divided into two classes. The murderers, those bent on killing, and the murderees, those bent on being killed. Fortunately, I find myself among the first class.
You're a killer, huh?
Yes, but a special and unique kind. You see, I intend to commit the perfect murder.
That right? Who are you gonna knock off?
Oh, but that's a secret, isn't it? No, not to you, Chick. Because you're the one I'm going to murder.
I figured the guy was a screwball, had holes in his head. I brushed him off, I forgot about him. I'm back at the Silver Crescent the next night, hammering it out with a beer and pretzel crowd. I'm going like 60. And then...
That's the tempo, Chick. What? That's the tempo for murder.
What are you doing here?
I just stopped in to remind you. It can happen any time. Any time.
That guy was beginning to get me. He was really getting me. And it got worse. Next night he shows up again. And the next. And the next.
Hello, Chick.
Now look, will you stop playing games with me?
It's not a game, Chick. You're going to die. Just as I said you would.
Will you stop it and get out of here? Go on, get out.
I selected you because you're a murderee. It's written all over you. The perfect victim for a perfect murder. There's nothing you can do to prevent it.
Oh, you'll see what I can do.
You can't run away from me. I'll find you wherever you go.
I'll go to the cops. I'll tell them about you. They'll take care of you. That's what cops are for. They'll take care of you good.
The police. Go ahead, Chick. You go to the police. They'll think you're crazy.
I could just make out the green lights of the station house ahead in the fog. And then I stopped. Sure, I tell the cops the guy comes up to me and says, I'm going to murder you, buddy. You're number one on my kill parade. And what would the cops think? They'd think I drag on the wrong kind of smokes. That's what they think. So I turn around and I walk back. Get to the corner. I step off the curb and two lights jump at me. I try to get back, but...
Are you all right?
What is this? Who are you?
My name's Rita Corday. You're in my apartment. You were struck by my car. I'm awfully sorry.
Where is he?
What?
He's here, isn't he?
Oh, I don't know what you're talking about.
You're lying. You tried to kill me.
What?
He had you do it. It didn't work, so you brought me here to finish it off. But you're not going to do it. I'm not going to die.
Try to get up.
You're not going to kill me. You're not going.
Please, lie back.
Get out of here. You're not going to do that to me.
Listen to me, please. I want to help you, Chick.
There, you know my name. You were lying just like I said. You're in with him. You're going to kill me.
Of course I know your name, Chick Denson. I looked through the papers in your pocket.
Now, you listen to me and try to understand. You weren't hurt badly, but you've had a shock and you're imagining things. I brought you here to help you. No one is going to do you any harm. You're safe. Do you understand that?
Safe?
Perfectly.
He isn't he? You're not helping us?
I haven't the slightest idea what you mean. I told you I'm going to help you. I'm going to take care of you, Chick. You're going to stay here until everything is all right.
Rita took good care of me. In a couple of days, I was feeling all right. And then I started to figure he'd never find me. As long as I was here, I was okay. Rita had a piano. I had nothing to do all day but just sit and play. I was okay. But I wasn't telling Rita. Not while Eric Sanders was still out to get me. Hello, Rita. You're late. 10 minutes. I told you, baby, I hate to wait for you. Even just 10 minutes.
I stopped in the store around the corner. I brought you down there. Go ahead, open the package.
Okay. Rita.
Chick, what's the matter?
Where did you get it?
I told you, in the store around the corner.
Look at it.
The Fine Art of Murder by Eric Sanders. Chick, I didn't buy that book. It was another one. I must have gotten the wrong package. They made a mistake.
What's the mistake? I gotta get out of here.
What's the matter with you, Chick? What's wrong?
I'm gonna get there. I've gotta get away from here. I've gotta get away. I walked and I walked. I didn't know where to go. Then I saw I was down by the waterfront. I stopped and I stood there looking at the river, trying to figure something out. I pulled out a cigarette. Then when I felt for my match, light Chick Sanders. I told you, Chick, it was no use running away. I told you I'd find you. I was waiting here for you. I followed you from her house and sent that book. I told you I had a plan. Now look, you're gonna leave me alone. No, Chick. Up until you're dead. Why did it have to be me? I told you why. You were born to be murdered, and I was born to do the murdering. And there's nothing you can do to prevent it. I'm gonna make you stop. So help me, I'm going to have to beat the life out of you. You're gonna stop. Do you hear me? You're gonna leave me alone. You're gonna stop. Stop. You can't kill me. And you can't make me stop killing you. No matter how hard you try, it wasn't meant to be that way. No, you'll see. You'll see. I pounded into him. I beat him until my hands were sore. Then I stopped. He sagged to the ground. I was going to kick him in the face, right in that smirking face. But I couldn't. I don't know why. I wanted to, but I couldn't. Then he looked up at me. You can't do it, can you, Chick? It's just as I told you. You're the murderee, and I'm the murderer. You're the one who's going to die.
You know, I'd like to feel sorry for our hep pianist friend Chick, but I just can't. Why, surely his music teacher must have warned him that the boogie-woogie would get him if he didn't watch out. Chick started out by being in the groove. Now it looks like he's headed for a rut, about 6 feet deep. Yes, sir, that Sanders fellow really digs him. Well, now, sit back and let's hear the low notes and the rest of Chick Denson's story.
I keep playing this number over and over again. I don't know why. I thought maybe it'd help me forget. But it doesn't. Nothing helps me to forget. I had to make up my mind to do it. I had to kill Eric Sanders. visit me. I didn't expect... Get inside, Sandy. Oh. A gun. Get in there. Certainly. What's this about? I'm going to kill you. You made it this way. You made it either you or me, so now it's going to be you. All right, chick. Here I am, back against the wall. Go ahead, shoot if you can. But you can't, can you? You can't pull that trigger. You hate me, yet you can't kill me. And I have absolutely no feelings about you. And yet I'm going to murder you eventually. I'm going to murder you in a perfect, undetectable fashion. What are you waiting for, chick? Go ahead, shoot. Go ahead. They're laughing at me. I had to do it. I just had to. Squeeze. He stopped laughing. I squeezed again. Then I got out of there fast. I went back to Rita's place. She was on. I sat down at the piano and banged on the ivory. I wanted to forget everything and just keep playing. I killed the guy. All right, so I killed him. But I had to do it. You can see that, can't you? Can't you? I kept punching away at the keys. Then all of a sudden, I feel something in the room, like a cold wind coming in when you open the door. Hello, chick. It was him. Sanders. He was standing in the doorway. He was standing there as big as life. You thought you could kill me, but you couldn't, could you? You're dead. I shot you. You're dead. Oh, no, you couldn't kill me, chick. You couldn't really kill anybody. I told you it wasn't in your nature. But I shot you. I fired the gun. You're dead. Yes, you fired the gun. But think. Maybe it was too dark in that room. The lights were low. You never fired a gun before, did you, chick? Maybe your hand was unsteady. There are many maybes in murder. You've got to have a plan when you kill. A sure, definite plan. Like I have for you, chick. A plan for the perfect murder. Don't come near me. Stay away. Don't come near me. No, chick, it's not now. Not at this moment. But the time is getting closer. That's what I came to tell you. The time for you is getting closer.
Maybe I could have helped you before, chick, if you'd only told me about him.
I don't know why I didn't tell you, Rita. Maybe I didn't trust you.
You do now, don't you?
Oh, sure, baby.
All right, then listen to me. We'll drive back to town and you'll go to the police.
Oh, no.
You can't keep running away.
I can't go to the police. Don't you see? It's too late for that. I tried to kill Sanders. They'll grab me for that right off. It's got to be this way. We'll hide up in the woods. I know a little place, a hotel. He won't find me there.
What's the matter with it? Nothing. I'm just tired of hearing it.
I like it. It suits me.
It's got me sick. I'm sick of being cooped up in my room, too. I want to get outside, even if it's just for 3 minutes.
You're not leaving this hotel. I told you, you're not showing your face outside until I say so.
Yeah?
Rita!
What?
Where do you think you're going?
Going outside. I told you I'm sick of this.
I went to the window and I waited. But Rita didn't come out. She was up to something. I went out into the hall. I stopped at the head of the stairs. There she was at the payphone down in the lobby. I could hear what she was saying.
Yes. It's 3 miles off the main road. The Star Hotel. Then I'll expect you by 10 tonight. Yes, you'll be here. I'll see to that.
She hung up and walked outside. I got down to the phone fast. I was just disconnected.
I'm sorry, sir. That was Riverside 9970?
Yeah.
Just a moment, please. Hello.
was his boy, Sanders. Rita called him. Rita. She was in with him. She was coming to get me. The both of them, they were going to get me. But it wasn't going to be that way. I knew the woods around the hotel. I knew every inch of them. And now I knew what I was going to do with Rita.
Where are we going, Chick?
What's the difference? You wanted to get outside, now we're out.
It's so dark in these woods.
The moon's out. There's a clearing a few yards ahead. See? Plenty of light.
It's getting late. We ought to get back, don't you think?
You know something, Rita?
What?
You act like you had an appointment back at the hotel.
Appointment?
Yeah. You act like you expected somebody. Here's what I wanted to show you. I dropped this rock in that pool of mud. Now watch it.
Disappeared.
Quicksand.
Is that what you wanted to show me?
What happened to that rock, Rita, is going to happen to you.
Chick.
I know you're in with Sanders to kill me.
What?
I heard you on the telephone.
No, Chick, I didn't call him, believe me.
You're a liar. You're a lousy liar. I checked on you.
I was trying to help you, Chick. That call.
Help me to a fast funeral. Well, now it's your funeral. He says I can't kill. Well, you'll see, Rita. You'll see. I can kill you.
Please don't listen to me.
You're going under like that rock. Just like that.
Please, for mercy.
Just like that rock.
Please, listen to me. I was only trying to help you. Please, pull me out of here. Take me. Please.
I stepped back and I watched the sand swallow her up. The woods were quiet again. I turned around, and then I saw him standing there in the moonlight. You killed her! He didn't look the same as he looked before. I could see it in his eyes. He didn't sound the same. His voice gave him away. He was afraid. Afraid of me. You killed her! You said I couldn't kill, but now you know I can. I planned her to murder Sanders. I planned it perfectly. I killed her, and now I can kill you! Don't come in! Don't come in! I chased him through the bushes. I followed him in the moonlight, and then he disappeared into the shadows. Go ahead, run! Run, but it won't do you any good, Sanders. I'm going to get you. I'm going to get you when you least expect it. I headed back to town, his house. There were no lights on, but I knew he was in there, hiding in the dark. I got in through a window, went upstairs, and opened the door to his bedroom. The moonlight was coming in. It was shining on the bed, right on the bed where he was sitting. I told you, Sanders, you couldn't get away from me. No, don't come near me, please. You're going to die, and no one will ever find out who did it. A perfect murder. No, don't I do it? A perfect planned murder, Sanders. My hands closed around his throat, tighter. And then the life dropped out of him. I let him fall back on the bed. And when I looked at him, something funny happened. He wasn't there. I felt dizzy. I rubbed my eyes. I looked again. Then something came from behind me. An arm swung around my neck. All right, you. Don't move. I tried to get out of the grip. The arm tightened. I said, don't try it. Don't. Something hard and heavy pounded on my head and slammed up against my brain. And then I faded. When I came out of it, I heard a voice behind me.
I was keeping a watch on the house like you told me, Inspector. I saw this character sneak in through a side window. He was choking the devil out of that pillow there on the bed. And like I told you on the phone, he was talking to himself a mile a minute. That crazy kind of talk.
Well, Robinson, he's our man, all right.
Sure, Inspector, but what bothers me is if he did knock Eric Sanders off 3 days ago, why in the deuce did he come back here again?
Well, you got me, but it's a good thing for us he did. We were up a blind alley in this case. From the way things looked, Sanders' death was a perfect murder. Before the trial started, they sent a doctor in to see me. One of those mind specialists. He spent hours with me. He told me why I bothered to go back again to Sanders' house. The first time you went to Sanders' house, Chick, you actually murdered him with your gun. But in your mind, you couldn't kill him. In your mind, he was still alive.
But, Doc, I saw him. He talked to me. I heard his voice.
Those were hallucinations, Chick.
Yeah? What about the telephone call Rita made? I talked to him right after she did.
Rita Corday was calling in a doctor to look at you. She thought you were mentally sick. When you heard the doctor's voice on the phone, you believed it was Sanders because you wanted to believe that.
Rita, she was trying to help me. Like she said.
Yes. And after you killed her, you felt you could kill Sanders. That's why you went back to his house. To fulfill the murder in your mind. That's all there is to it, Chick.
That's all there is to it. That's what the doc said. But there's more. The court said I was non-comp or something. It means that you're crazy. They put me away in this place. Here I got nothing to do but think. I asked for a piano. They brought this one in this morning. The doc said it was hallucinations, but I saw him. I really saw him. Yeah, and I heard his voice. The doc said it couldn't have been Sanders, but I tell you, I saw him. I saw him with my own eyes. The doc said Sanders was already dead. All right, then. If it wasn't Sanders, I saw him. Who was it? Who was it? I'm trying not to think. That's why I'm playing now. Maybe if I play long enough, I'll forget about what I'm thinking. I'll keep playing, that's all. I'll just keep playing.
Good night. Pleasant dreams.
Sanctum was a presentation of the United States Armed Forces Radio Service, the voice of information and education.
Never borrow money needlessly, just when you must. Borrowed and where loans are a specialty from folks you trust. Borrow confidently from HFC.
Household Finance Corporation offices are listed in your telephone book.
Our next broadcast is a supernatural fantasy series that ran from 1943 through 1945. There were 78 episodes produced altogether. The show's strength was stories from famous writers of the two genres, including Robert Louis Stevenson, Victor Hugo, Edgar Allan Poe, and even Charles Dickens. One of the more unusual aspects of the show was that there was no music, other than between scenes. Some have claimed that this lack of music helps to keep the show from being dated, as it remains fresh to this day. We present to you The Weird Circle on HOJO Radio.
Out of the past, phantoms of a world gone by, speak again the immortal tale, the Diamond Lens.
Are you in?
Good morning, sir. Good morning.
Good morning. You are Mr. Pike, aren't you?
I am, sir. But I don't believe I remember your name. So many doctors and professors come to me.
Naturally you don't know me, Mr. Pike. This is the first time I've even been in here. My first day in New York, as a matter of fact. My name's Lindley. Alan Lindley.
I'm pleased to meet you, Mr. Lindley. And what can I do for you this nasty morning? Are you in the biological line, botanical, zoological, medicine?
All and none. Look, Mr. Pike, there's no sense disguising facts. I'm new here. I'm new to the world of science. But you'll hear about me before long.
I'm sure we will, sir.
I've come to New York to do something no man has yet done.
And that is?
I've come to revolutionize the science of the microscope.
Indeed, sir. You've bitten off a tremendous job for yourself. May I ask if you've had any previous training in the technique of the microscope?
Training? No, but who needs it? Who wants it? I've something more. Something none of your dry-as-dust professors and routine-ridden doctors have. Love, devotion, passion.
Science does not lend itself easily to the emotions, Mr. Linley.
It does to mine. All my life, every thought, every desire, every yearning has been devoted to the microscope. I think it, I breathe it. Look out at the rain. Where anybody sees only a drop of water rolling down the window, I see a universe of beings animated with all the passions common to physical life and convulsing their minute sphere with struggles as fierce as those of man.
Indeed, sir, but that is only dreaming. The science of the microscope demands patience, skill, years of practice.
Ah, you talk like a fool. I would trade a century of practice for an ounce of inspiration. And I have that, Pike. Inspiration like a volcano. Well, I'll show you soon enough.
I hope you will, Mr. Linley.
Here's a list of what I want.
Mr. Linley, you can't afford to purchase all this. It will amount to...
Whatever it is, I can pay. Here's $1,000 in gold on account. I want all this apparatus delivered to my rooms on 4th Avenue no later than tomorrow morning. Here's the address.
Mr. Linley...
And watch the scientific journals from this day on, Pike. Because very shortly you will see the name of Alan Lindley, microscopist, blaze like a star in the heavens.
I believe you, Mr. Linley. I really do. For a novice to embark on such a course as you have set for yourself, you must be either a genius or...
Or what?
Or a madman.
Perhaps Alan isn't home.
Alan!
Lindley.
Oh, nonsense, Cora, nonsense. The landlady said he hasn't left his rooms in 6 months. Alan, you scoundrel!
A moment.
Who? Dad.
Cora,
looks guilty, eh, Cora? Like a thief caught in the act.
Now, Mr. Lindley, you promised you wouldn't bully Alan. Hello, Alan, darling. Well, aren't you going to ask us in?
Of course. Come in, both of you. I'm afraid the place is a bit of a mess just now. I'll try to find chairs.
Mess. Looks like a confounded junk shop. What's all this glass and metal and apparatus?
Well, I suppose it's an amateur laboratory, so to speak. I'm trying hard to turn myself into a professional microscopist.
Professional piddle. Now, look here, son. I'm not going to mince words.
Now, Mr. Lindley.
Don't know me, Cora. You may be in love with this scoundrel, but I'm his father, and I've plenty to say.
What is it, Dad? What's the matter?
The matter is 6 months and $6,000. For 6 months, we haven't heard from you. Not a letter. Not a message. For 6 months, you've been buried in this blasted city. Dead, for all we might have known. And the only word from you was a draft on my bank for $6,000.
That's how we found your address, Alan.
This confounded nonsense has got to stop.
It's not nonsense, Dad, and it's only begun.
Blast your infernal impudence.
You promised me a year in New York. A year of independence to follow my own career. You said it was a fair gamble. Either I'd find myself or get it out of my system.
Find yourself, yes, but not squander yourself. Not spend a fortune and live in a filthy pigsty like a dealer in bottles and old glass. This junk here...
Don't touch it!
Don't touch it! Touch it! I wouldn't soil my fingers. Now listen, Alan. The bargain's ended. Cancelled. Finished. You're to come home at once.
I will not.
You'll do as you're told.
For 1 year, I'll do as I please.
Not without an allowance, you won't. And I mean that, sir. Not another penny for this foolishness. Not another penny until you come home, marry Cora, and get to work. It's home or starve.
All right. Now get out of here.
I ought to break my cane over your back, sir.
Get out!
Alan! Mr. Lindley, please.
Cora,
Will you wait for me downstairs, Mr. Lindley? I'd like to speak to Alan alone.
You're wasting your time, Cora. He needs to be convinced with a stick.
Please, Mr. Lindley.
Oh, very well, very well. Tell the ruffian who poses as my son that I stick to my decision. He's to come home or stop.
I'm sorry, Alan, dear.
Darling Cora, I haven't even had a chance to say hello, really.
Well, there's no one stopping you now, Alan.
Oh, darling, how I've missed you.
I know. Only something terribly important could keep you away from me so long.
Then you do understand.
A little. Enough.
It's so big for me. I reached a blind alley, a blank wall. All this equipment that cost a fortune, it's imperfect, inadequate.
But Alan...
Night after night, I dream of the perfect microscope. A dream instrument of immeasurable power that will pierce the envelope of matter down to the original atom.
But, darling, that's impossible.
Don't you see? I can't give up until I found that microscope. You do understand, Cora?
Yes, darling. I understand, and you're right. You must stay here.
Bless you.
I'll see what I can do with your father. I only hope I can pacify him a little.
Thank you, darling.
And while you're struggling with your problem, don't forget that it's mine, too. Even if I don't understand all your complicated science. Goodbye, Alan.
Goodbye.
You are fortunate, Effendi. She is a beautiful woman.
What?
It's too bad she departs in tears.
Who the devil are you and what do you want?
Forgive me, Effendi, but my room is next to yours. I could not help overhearing. My name is Simon Belafri. I am a very small person of no consequence. A dealer in trifles. A buyer and seller of insignificance.
Yes, well, I've worked to do.
One moment, Mr. Lindley. Pardon if I presume, but I could not help hearing you speak of problems.
The perfect microscope lens? What about it?
I understand you are baffled in search for this marvel of science. Effendi, has it never occurred to you that two heads are better than one?
Meaning yourself? Nonsense.
But no, I speak of Madame Vulpes.
Who?
Madame Vulpes. Most famous medium in city. Most powerful in world.
A medium?
Yes, great medium. By heavens, what a woman. I go to her many times. This woman speaks to me of things I do not dare to speak of, even to myself. Always she knows all. For through her mouth speaks the wisdom of the ages. Perhaps to you, the voice of a scientist long dead will speak, bringing advice you need, eh?
By heaven, why not? What have I to lose? Come, Belafris, take me to your medium. She may find me the perfect microscope.
You come for a communication, Mr. Lindley?
Yes, Madame Vulpes.
I bring him quick. I have told him about you.
Quiet, Simon. This time the matter does not concern you. Mr. Lindley, you wish to communicate with any particular spirit?
Yes.
Have you ever known this spirit on Earth?
No, never. He died long before I was born. I wish merely to obtain from him some information which he ought to be able to give better than any other.
Seat yourself at the table, Mr. Lindley, and place your hand on it. Simon will do likewise, unless you prefer him to leave.
I have nothing to conceal. He may stay.
That is good. Quietly.
1,000 thanks for your trust, Effendi. I repay you now, since I know how to question spirits when they speak through medium's mouth.
Simone, she's moaning.
Ah, they are strong tonight. Already she is in trance, and they clamor at her mouth.
What's that rapping?
The spirits call us to attention. I would speak to them. Will the spirit communicate with this gentleman? Will the particular spirit he desires to speak with communicate? Attention, Lindley. The spirit you want is about to speak through her.
But she doesn't know who I want. Neither do you. I haven't mentioned his name.
You have thought it. That is enough for remarkable Madame Vulpes. Listen.
I am here. Question me.
Speak, Lindley. It is your spirit.
Who are you?
He whom you desire. Anton Leavenworth.
Great Scott! This is incredible. The very man I thought of.
Who is spirit with strange name?
Anton Leavenworth, the original discoverer of the microscope. He died centuries ago.
Speak to him, Lindley. Quick, before he goes.
Do you know what I want, Master?
Yes.
Can the perfect microscope be created?
Yes.
Am I destined to accomplish this task?
You are.
For the love you bear to science, help me. How shall I proceed?
You must use a lens submitted to electromagnetic currents of 1,000 volts and constantly bathed in the magnetic field.
Of what shall the lens be formed?
For the perfect microscope, you will need a lens formed of a 140-carat diamond.
Simone, what is it?
Monsters! Robbers, thieves!
What ails you, man?
Let me out of here!
I do not remain in an instant. In heaven's name, Simone. Are you sick? Wait. I'm coming with you.
You have ferreted out my secret. You and that cursed Wolfert woman.
Wait, Simone. What secret? What's the matter?
But you shall not have it. Neither you nor the Wolfert. No one shall steal from me the eye of the morning.
Simone, stop, you idiot.
Get away. Why have you followed me home?
I live here, too, you fool. Stop yelling. You'll wake the house.
Get out of here.
Don't be an ass. Here, come into my room a minute and cool off.
I swear to you, Linley, you shall not have it.
Have what? Sit down and calm off. Now, what excited you so? What was this gibberish about the eye of the morning?
Do not pretend. You know. You know the Wolfert woman told you.
Told me what?
About my diamond. The diamond called the eye of the morning.
Oh? You own a diamond?
You know.
Come to your senses, man. I only met you a few hours ago. I know nothing. Nothing but what you yourself gave away.
Huh? Yes. Yes, my friend, I think perhaps I misjudged you, huh? Of course you did not know. And Madame Pulpus, she spoke of another diamond, eh? That was what confused Bellatris, because it was of the same size.
What was the same size? Your diamond?
Wait, Lindley, I show it to you. Always I have it on me for safety. Here. Look at it.
It's magnificent.
Worth the king's ransom. 140 carats.
100? Exactly what I...
How I get it is story of robbery and theft and murder.
You smuggled it in?
Yes.
I see. Simone, listen to me. I must have this diamond.
You joke, eh?
Simone, I want this diamond.
You are serious. But no, you are a fool. You could not pay.
You heard what the spirit of Leeuwenhoek said. A diamond lens of 140 carats. This is my lens, Simone, my perfect microscope. I must have it.
No.
What else can I find a diamond so exactly suited to my needs?
No, Lindley, no, you are a meddle. Give it back.
I must have it, Simone.
Give it back.
I must have this diamond no matter what the price.
No, Lindley. Let go.
I must have this diamond.
Lindley.
And I do have it, Simone. You can't hear me now. But wherever you are, the shades and spirits of the beyond will make you understand. I have the perfect microscope now. The diamond lens. Just a minute. Oh, my boy, are you all right? Oh, Dad, come in. Of course I'm all right. Why shouldn't I be?
Shouldn't you? Great Scott, Allen. Are you so lost in your scientific nonsense you don't know what's happening around you? Here, read this paper.
Huh? Oh. Murder in 4th Avenue rooming house. Last week, Simone Bellatris found strangled in bedroom. Oh, that. Just a Persian peddler killed.
My word, Allen. I don't see how you can be so cold-blooded. As soon as we saw this in our local paper, Cora and I rushed to New York.
Cora? Here?
Yes, she's waiting in the hotel. We had to come when we saw your name as one of the neighbors of the murdered man.
Wait, Dad. Before you say anything else, now listen to me. I've done what I set out to do. And in less than a year, I've done something that no man in the world could do. I've created the perfect microscope. Built a lens that can pierce all matter down to the ultimate atom.
You're talking like a madman again.
This happens to be the greatest moment of my life, Dad. My microscope is mounted and ready for use. This will be my first sight into the unknown.
Alan, you're so flushed and perspiring. Your hands are shaking so.
Watch. First the dynamo. Yes. Then, on the slide, a drop of water. So tiny, so clear. Seemingly so empty.
Alan, you must come away. It's this confounded electrical mess surrounding your microscope that's burning you up.
Careful, don't touch anything. There's 1,000 volts of death lying in wait for the unwary.
Good heavens. What have you been doing?
Preparing for this superb moment. My first glimpse into the void of atomic space. For the first time in history, a human eye peers into the unknown and sees... Father!
My boy.
This is incredible, unbelievable.
Oh, you're real, Alan.
No. Only overwhelmed. Father, this miraculous lens penetrates into a tiny world, more perfect, more beautiful, far lovelier than any man has dreamed.
Oh, you only imagine you see it. Such things do not exist.
I tell you, I do see it, and... No. No, this is too much to believe.
Oh, my boy, come away from that lens.
A human figure. A figure of a woman. Wait. Yes. Yes, she floats directly into the lens. The most beautiful, adorable woman I have ever seen. Human and yet too lovely to be human. A graceful, unbelievable animula in the atom. What a perfect name for her. Animula.
You're mad.
Mad am I? See, she gazes directly up into the lens. Up at me. Now she smiles. She senses I'm watching her. She must. She must know how my heart reaches out to her.
Alan.
Wait, listen. Do you hear that? The tinkle of infinitesimal bells. The music of delicate dancing prisms. It's her voice, I tell you. The voice of her thoughts for me.
Alan, in the name of mercy, I implore you to come away. You're sick. You don't know how you rave.
Out of the atom she calls to me. Animula. And my heart calls to her.
I've got to get you home at once. Now listen to me, Alan. Perhaps Cora can... Yes, I'll bring Cora. She'll calm you. Now wait, my boy. I'll bring Cora to you.
Animula. Animula. I love you.
Mr. Lindley! Mr. Lindley! Open up! This is Inspector Adams, Homicide Department.
What is it?
Sorry to bother you. Just a few questions about the Belle Affris murder.
Oh, come in. I'm sorry I didn't answer at once. I was preoccupied.
Yeah, quite a place you got here. Laboratory, eh?
Yes.
Any particular research?
Yes. No, you must excuse me. She's calling again. You hear, I haven't taken my eyes off her for an hour.
I don't think I understand, Mr. Lindley. If you mean that tinkling noise, it sounds like a piece of glass to me.
No. Animula. It's the sound of her thoughts. Someday I'll let you see her, too, but now she's for my eyes alone.
Oh, something under that microscope, eh? Looks like a drop of water.
Careful. There's an electrical field around that instrument. You must know how to handle it. She's calling to me again. You must excuse me, Inspector Adams.
Mr. Lindley.
What?
Stop looking into that lens a minute. I want to ask some questions.
Yes, I can't give you too much time. My whole life is in this lens.
It's about Simon Belle Affris, the Persian. Did you know him?
No.
Ever see him?
No.
Ever been in his room?
No.
Was he ever in yours?
No.
Well, look, we found him strangled in his room, which is right next to yours. He looked as though he'd been in an awful fight. Did you hear anything that night?
No.
Too busy with research, eh?
That's right.
Now, here's the point, Mr. Lindley. Belle Affris was all banged up, but his room wasn't, see? It looks as though he was killed in a fight somewhere else and then carried to his room. Now, did you hear any noise in the halls, like a body being dragged?
No, I don't believe I did.
Have you got any idea why Belle Affris was murdered? A feud, maybe, or a robbery? Did he own anything worth stealing?
I can't say. I don't know.
Well, what's the matter, Mr. Lindley? You look like you're ready to faint.
It's the bells. You hear them, Inspector? It's an animula calling me to her. I've got to get back to the microscope. You must excuse me.
I hear those bells, too. Say, don't tell me you think that sound comes out of the microscope.
But it does, I tell you. Out of the atoms of that tiny drop of water. The voice of my beloved calling to me, reaching toward me from the atomic void. It is the voice of her thoughts yearning toward me. She knows I watch her. She knows I love her.
Alan, darling.
Oh, you see,
what's
Cora?
the matter?
You see? Mad. Raving mad.
Alan, darling, what's wrong?
I'm Inspector Adams, folks. Believe me, this man's mad.
No, I can't believe that. Please sit down here, Alan, dear. Good heavens, how you're trembling.
Please don't touch me, Cora.
Alan.
Take your hands off me.
You see, Cora?
Alan, darling, your father was right. You are delirious.
No, Cora. I'm in love.
Of course, dear.
It's that new microscope. He saw something.
You hear that? Listen, all of you.
Wait a minute. What new microscope?
I don't know. He said...
Oh, I'll tell you. If it'll make you believe my sanity. Old Leeuwenhoek told me how to make it. A lens in a magnetic field, long axis, a diamond lens of 140 carats.
A diamond lens?
Mr. Lindley, we've got to get Alan home at once. Alan, for my sake, you've got to come with us.
No.
Please, darling. Listen. You said you loved me once. I never asked anything for our love. Now I do. Please come with us.
I don't love you now, Cora. I'm sorry.
But why? Why?
I love Animula.
A thing in the microscope. A dream in a drop of water.
A dream in... I don't understand. But I don't care. Love anybody you please, Alan. Anybody, anywhere. And I won't care because I love you and anything that's yours. Only now you must come away.
No. Now get out, all of you. You hear? She's calling again. I've got to get back to her. Animula. Do you hear? Her voice. It's louder, closer. Great heaven, she's reaching out to me. Across the vast barrier of space, she's coming to me. Animula, do you hear, do you?
Yes, we all hear, Mr. Lindley. And we all see. Look, here in my hand. This is the voice of your Animula.
What? No.
Good Lord, what's that?
Something I found tangled in the window curtain. A pair of Persian ankle bells. Silver bells used for jewelry.
Impossible, I won't...
They match a pair we found in the torn pocket of Belle Apper's coat.
The man who was murdered.
By your son, Mr. Lindley.
No!
Alan,
you didn't know you couldn't
Yes,
have.
he did, all right. And for that diamond lens he was talking about, I bet. We've known for some time that Belle Apper's was smuggling diamonds.
You lie. That's not the voice of my Animula, those bells.
You murdered him here, didn't you? For a diamond. In the fight, these bells were probably torn from the Persian's pocket and caught in the curtain. Every time the curtain swayed, you thought you heard this Animula talking.
It was her voice. I swear it. I believe it. I heard her.
Now, look again, you fool. Look again in that crazy diamond lens and tell me what you see now. Take one long last look before you hang for murder.
Monster! You destroy everything. Love, faith, belief. But you won't destroy my belief. I have a way to stop you. Everybody! Look out!
Alan.
Oh, no.
Yes, I'm afraid he's dead. Electrocuted himself when he smashed his microscope. Well, maybe it's best this way. I can see he must have been a nice boy.
But what happened? What changed him like that?
I don't know. Something he saw, I guess.
But was it real? Did he really see all that in the diamond lens?
You don't understand. He saw something and it changed him. That's what happens to all of us. Doesn't matter if we really see it or only imagine we do. We see something and it changes us. Sooner or later, every man must gaze into a diamond lens.
From the time-worn pages of the past, we have brought you the story, The Diamond Lens. Bellkeeper, toll the bell.
It's here now. New 98 Super Premium at the red, white, and blue Ingram sign. Power plus economy at your friendly Ingram oil dealers now. Here's a man that really appreciates that new Ingram power.
Take a tip from me, Carlin Hill at the Chicago Bears. I'm a professional plastic saver, and the red, white, and blue Ingram disc is the best catch I ever made. You can get Ingram's new 98 Super Premium gasoline at your friendly Ingram dealers today. This is another forward step by Ingram, a company that is producing for the present and planning for the future. Remember, you get power plus economy when you fill your car with Ingram's new 98 Super Premium. Watch for the Ingram sign.
Get more gold for your dough with Ingram's new 98 Super Premium at the white Ingram pump with the red top. Get Ingram 98 Platinum Treated Gasoline at these friendly Ingram dealers.
Stay tuned to HOJO Radio.
Out of the past, phantoms of a world gone by, speak again the immortal tale. The history of Dr. John Fowler.
My name is Nicholas Wagner, and it was I who was assistant to the notorious Dr. John Faust, he whose fame spread through all the known world, whom crowds followed when he walked the streets, he whom the noblest rulers of the earth revered and honored. It was I who, during those incredible years, pleaded with him to walk the way of God in righteousness and virtue. It was I who begged him to repent, but Faust was already dead. This is his story, his history, the indelible record marked as a warning for all time. Beware the path ye trod. Beware trafficking with the regions of the damned. It began on such a night as this. The dull sky rumbled and flared with lightning. A storm rode on the inrushing wind. And in his study there sat with Dr. Faust, the lean, intense magician, Cornelius.
Wagner, shut the windows. The storm's broken. Help me, Cornelius, here. Wagner was with the others.
Certainly, Dr. Faust.
There. The storm shut out. Just listen to it.
Come, sit down, Doctor.
In a moment, Cornelius. First, tell me, what were you saying before the storm broke?
That you shall have power. Power to command what you will, Doctor.
Power. Here I am, loaded down with fame and honor, yet helpless for all my knowledge against the ravages of time. Age is a brutal thing, Cornelia. With all the wisdom crowded in this skull, can I hold off death? Can I stop time? Can I make the dawn come with infinite slowness?
Magic will do these things, Doctor.
If I can have my youth, my full, lusty youth, and all those I've loved and those died. I had a lovely wife when I was young, Cornelia.
Magic can perform all these miracles, Doctor.
You're sure, Cornelia?
As sure as I breathe, Doctor.
Then I will invoke these spirits.
Tonight, Faust, for this is the time when lightning and fire crackles across the world.
Where do I meet?
Meet me in the north meadow in an hour. We will invoke the spirits there. Will you come?
Yes. We shall conjure them up tonight. Cornelius, look at me. You're seeing Faust as an old man for the last time. This is the North Meadow, but where's... Cornelius! Cornelius! The wind howls me down. Cornelius! Here, Cornelius, by these trees. The weather your spirits pick for their freedom.
This is their element, Doctor. Are you ready?
I've been ready ever since old age struck me down.
Then we will invoke them here upon this knoll, Doctor. I'll stay within the charmed circle that I draw on the ground. Thus. There. Stand. Now, Faust. Stand straight and bold. Have no fear. For you are safe within this circle.
Come, be quick. My skin's as wet as a rag.
And listen. I shall invoke the spirits now. Praise me, O Lord and Master, monarch of the dark infernal world, great Lucifer, emperor, king of the secret regions of lightning and fire. Raise me an agent. Up from the bottomless realm send him. Come, Mephistopheles. I have a soul, Mephistopheles. A soul for Lucifer.
You have done well, Cornelius. You may go now.
Goodbye, Faust. Goodbye.
Cornelius.
You wanted me, Dr. Faust?
Where's Cornelius? He vanished.
He is gone, Doctor. His task is done. He brought me to you.
Who are you?
I am called Mephistopheles, minister to Lucifer, arch-regent of the underworld. Now, Doctor, you called me. What for?
To serve me, Mephistopheles. To do whatever I command. Be it to drain the sea or give me my youth again.
I will, Faust.
Then give me my youth now.
We must be bound first.
Bound?
A deed must be signed. You will buy my services with your soul, Faust, and I shall serve you until the deed expires.
How long will the deed run?
24 years.
That I was doing. 24 years of youth.
I will bring the deed. Lucifer must sign it. Wait here, Faust.
I will wait anywhere.
I shall return in a little while.
How he departs, royally, in lightning and fire. Ah, but soon your old age will wither, Faust. Oh, for a mirror to see the instant of the change. And through Mephistopheles I shall be emperor of the world, potentate extraordinary, grand ruler of the sea and air. I shall have power and glory. I shall be as brilliant as the noonday sun.
Leave this blasphemous art, Faust.
Huh? It's Wagner's voice. Wagner, where are you?
You are in mortal danger of being damned, Faust.
You shall have your youth, Faust.
And now Cornelius' voice. Cornelius.
Come back. Come back. The devil's tempting you. There is time yet, Faust. Come back to God.
Your youth, Faust, and the world like a ripe fruit in your hand.
Mephistopheles.
Yes?
I have been hearing voices.
The wind, Faust. Here is the deed signed with Lucifer's name. You will sell your soul to him?
I will.
Sign this deed in your own blood, then, Faust.
Tell me, what good will my soul do great Lucifer?
It will enlarge his kingdom, and yours is a worthy gain. Stab your arm with this dagger.
I must bleed my way into your kingdom, huh? But what? I do it willingly. The blood flows.
Dip the pen in and write.
I, Dr. John Faust, his soul. Oh, the blood conceals. It will not flow.
I will bring you warm to boil. Wait.
My blood unwilling to write that John Faust gives his soul.
Repent, Faust. Repent. Do not deny thy God.
Power, Faust. Pleasures none has ever dreamed of. What need have you of God?
Here's warmth for your arm, Faust. Put it to the wound.
There. Now my blood begins to flow again. Right while it's free. I, Dr. John Faust, give my soul to Lucifer. Please, representative Mephistopheles, grant them, after 24 years of obedient service, in which we, Mephistopheles, shall remain invisible to all but Sir John Faust, full power to fetch and carry me, my soul, my flesh and blood, into their kingdom. Signed by me, John Faust. There, stop.
Give me the deed.
Take it. Now, Mr. Mephistopheles, you will serve me from this moment on.
What would you have me do as my first act?
My youth. Give me my youth again.
Then look. Here in this mirror I hold.
Yes?
Look. Light. Light. You bolt of lightning, strike! Look in the mirror.
I'm young. Young.
And you have power.
Yes, he had power. With it rose his fame. He who was only honored for the wisdom of his mind now was revered for the unholy miracles he could perform. And each wonder, each deed born of his union with the devil, further damned his soul.
Wonderful. A joke, your lordship. That's all it was. If the young man had kept a civil tongue in his head, I would not have crowned him with horns.
The look upon his face when he discovered them. He would have died of shame if you hadn't removed them, Doctor.
I'm glad your ladyship enjoyed the joke. But tell me, perhaps there's something you desire, my lord. Something my power can perform for you.
There is, Doctor.
What is it?
The sight of something, Doctor, of someone long dead.
someone I've always wanted to see as he truly was. Who, my lord? Alexander the Great. I can show him to you. Not his true, substantial body, but spirit who shall faithfully reproduce the man. I shall be satisfied, Doctor. Then stop here a moment and watch the opposite wall of this room. Alexander shall be there. Mephistopheles! Out of the mists of memory, out of the impression on time, my spirit weaves the figure, form the shape. And it is Alexander! Alexander!
He's walking across the room.
A more noble figure of a man I have never seen. Look how his eyes flash with strength and power. He is gone. Gone. How shall I thank you for this, Doctor? Give the devil his due, your lordship. What? Nothing, my lord. The pleasure was all mine. Now you will excuse me.
Must you be going, Doctor?
I must. Shall we see you soon, perhaps? But now, goodbye. Farewell. Farewell, Doctor. Ah, Mephistopheles. You made them bow and scrape. If you were visible, they would have blanched with fear in the bargain.
Would you have their titles, Faust? Their wealth? Their property?
What? Theirs? No, Mephistopheles. What do I want with theirs? When with the devil behind me, I possess the world.
Yes, his fame spread throughout the world. The name of John Faust, like some great and monstrous bell, clanged through cities and nations. For all the strange secrets of this globe were known to him through Mephistopheles. His eyes beheld what none before had ever seen. Together they plumbed the seas, saw in a flashing vision the great unexplored regions of the world. Yes, Faust's knowledge became vast and great, but each man reaches the end of seeing, grows tired of the real world, and craves the unknown.
Stop. Stop, Mephistopheles. I'm tired. Let's rest a while.
I show you the kingdom of the ancient pharaohs as it was, or the flourishing splendor of the forgotten city of Atlantis.
Cities, buildings, towers, streets. I've seen so many I can distinguish none.
What would you have then, Faust?
Will you grant me anything?
Whatever lies within my power, our pact says.
Then show me Lucifer's kingdom.
Hell?
Yes, hell.
Now, Faust?
Yes, now. Let me see my monarch's kingdom, the dim land of which my soul shall be a citizen.
You are prepared for what you will see?
I've seen too much to know fear.
Then stand by my side, Faust. Hold to my cloak. Be resolute.
I am.
The gate! Open the gate! Devils and fiends, split wide the gateway to Lucifer's kingdom!
The wind is rising. It's getting dark, Mephistopheles.
A safe road for Mephistopheles, minister of Lucifer! Back, you fiends! I wear the badge of your king!
Where are we, Mephistopheles?
Upon the first level of hell, Faust.
This cavern is vast. What is that glow?
Fire, Faust. Come close. Look.
A sea of fire. What's that? Turning and twisting in it.
Souls of the damned, Faust.
The agony of those cries. Something is flying, Mephistopheles.
Those are my lesser brothers in this realm.
Fire. Blackness. This is the geography of Lucifer's kingdom. Oh, hold it. So twist and torture, Mephistopheles.
So do all the damned.
And I am damned.
Welcome, Faust. Welcome to the
Who is that? Look, Mephistopheles. That glow upon the opposite side of the cavern. It reveals something. A chair. A great chair, black and shining as ebony. It's a throne. And on it sits... Who, Mephistopheles? Who?
Lucifer, drop to your knees before your Lord.
Yes, he had seen the infernal regions, but time does not stand still, and the moment of reckoning came near. Faust grew melancholy, and sometimes his deeds filled him with terror and fear of God's wrath. There were nights he sprung up from his bed, his body sweating, his eyes wild, his mind overwhelmed with nightmare visions.
Wagner! 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 Who is it? It's I, Faust. Let me in, for pity's sake, let me in. What is it, Doctor? Let me sit down. Wagner, shut the door. Bolt it. What happened, Doctor? I dreamed, Wagner. I dreamed a frightening vision. A cry out. The agony was such a scream. I saw fire, Wagner, and myself twisting and turning in such piercing pain. Great flames licked me, and about me there was laughter, Wagner, mocking laughter, like an army of witches and hags.
Listen to me, Doctor. Listen and believe. Give up this evil partnership of yours with the devil. You had a vision of your own eternal damnation, Faust. Repent. Leave this corruption. God will forgive if you repent in time.
I'm far too cursed and damned.
Call for his mercy. Grace can still be yours.
He will forgive my sins?
Yes, Faust. The Lord's mercy is bountiful and great.
I, with my sins? What salvation can there be for me, Wagner? Despair grips my heart. What have I done? Shows my immortal heresy for a curse.
There is time yet, Doctor. Repent.
If only there were.
Pray. Pray.
I will. Wagner, I will. Oh, God. Mephistopheles, who are you calling?
Traitor, I arrest your soul for disobedience and revolt against my sovereign Lord. I claim flesh and blood and all that is John Faust.
Free me, Mephistopheles.
You signed a pact.
Release me from it.
Here, this dagger will release you. Plunge it into yourself.
No. No. Doctor.
Then I shall seize your soul. Now.
Mephistopheles, forgive me. I will confirm my vow. Do not seize my soul.
Then confirm with a true heart, or greater danger will befall you.
I swear by my blood that great Lucifer is my true Lord.
Repent, Doctor, repent.
Drive that word from your lips, Wagner.
Doctor, God will...
Silence! Get out!
Goodbye, Doctor. May God have pity on me.
Are you satisfied with my loyalty, Mephistopheles?
I am.
I was weak for a moment, then. You will forget it.
It is forgotten, Faust. And to prove it, what shall I do to lift your spirit, Faust?
What is there left to do?
Shall I command blind Homer sing to you? Bid Solomon the wise discourse?
No, I'm filled with one.
You recall something? What is it, Faust?
My wife. Give me my young and lovely wife again, Mephistopheles. If only for a little while. Let me embrace that beloved form.
I will, Faust. Helen, wife of John Faust. Helen, out of the vast reaches of the timeless world, arise. Helen, wife of John Faust. Helen! He comes.
Helen! Look, Mephistopheles. This was the face that made my youth a thing of beauty. This truly was my soul. Oh, Mephistopheles, how green the spring was when Helen was at my side. How cool and fresh the day. How full of beauty was the night. Oh, Helen, still you're clad in the beauty of 1,000 stars. Still fairer than the evening air. Come, sweet Helen. Give me your kisses once again.
The years allotted him crept slowly toward the appointed hour, and Dr. Faust cursed back youth and those desires that had led him down this long and crooked road of evil. On the momentous night of reckoning, a church bell was tolling nearby, and Faust listened to it in his study. Opposite him sat a visitor, the noble lord he had performed for.
Go away, my lord. Go. Come to our house only once more, Doctor. My wife, her ladyship, begs your company just one more time. I have an appointment with someone else. I shall be detained a long while. Go away. She cannot forget the wonders you showed us, Doctor. There is someone she wishes to see again, raised up out of the past, as you raised Alexander for me. I must raise myself first. Huh? Go away, you fool. Must I perform like a common mountebank at my last hour? What do you mean, Doctor? I've done enough sinning. Go away. Are you ill? Ill, yes. Sick of too much power, of wonders, of dealings with the damned. Oh, if I'd never read a book or seen this city. If only I'd been a country peasant, dull as the earthy plow. My good Doctor. Sick to nausea. Sick with my loss. For I have lost my God. They've shut me off from his love. Who, Doctor? I don't understand. Lucifer and his agent Mephistopheles. Lucifer? The devil? Fool! If any mortal man ever had the power I held, for all my wonders, for all my cunning, I gave my soul. God forbid. He did, my lord. He did. I did not. The pleasure was sweet, and I had my use for it. I gave the devil a deed, a gift of my soul, and I am damned for it. You said this was your last hour. The deed expired. Go away. Can't you hear the thunder? You'll perish with me. Can I save you, Doctor? Save yourself. They're coming. Pray for forgiveness. With what? What virtue have I left? Then I will pray for you. Yes, pray. Pray, but go, if only into the next room. Go! All right, Doctor. I'll go. Whatever noise you hear, do not come. For nothing can rescue me. Oh, Father, who art in heaven. Now come, you hordes of the underworld. If only midnight never came. And this precious moment went on forever. But time will not stop. The minutes will drop like grains of sand. And they will come, eager, their mouths watering for their royal award. They ride the fastest wind. Oh, my God, forgive me. I bartered what was your most precious gift, my soul. But who can forgive the deeds I did? The blasphemies I performed. Who?
No one, Faust.
Mephistopheles.
In the name of great Lucifer, Archregent of Hell, I demand your soul.
No, Mephistopheles, no!
You won't?
Release me from my pledge.
Never.
Let me be an old man again, wrinkled, crawling to his death.
Too late, Faust. Too late.
I beg you.
No. Bring up devils and fiends. Seize him. Seize his soul.
Master! My Lord! My Lord! Save me! Save me! Save me, oh my God! Save my soul!
And it was done. Cut was the branch that might have grown so straight. Damned was the soul that might have climbed to God. My brothers, listen. What shall it avail a man if he, when he gains the world, loses his immortal soul?
From the time-worn pages of the past, we have brought you the story, the history of Dr. Faust. Bellkeeper, toll the bell.
Sometimes when we're tired, we make mountains out of molehills. We putter around till even the easiest job seems impossible. Now, if you're that tired and pale besides, your doctor may find you have a borderline anemia, resulting from a paranutritional blood deficiency. Then you need ironized yeast tablets. They help build up your strength by building up your red blood cells. So take ironized yeast tablets to get back your color, your vigor, your driving energy. Ironized yeast tablets.
Our next broadcast was one of the premier drama programs of the golden age of radio and was subtitled Radio's Outstanding Theater of Thrills and focused on suspense thriller-type scripts, usually featuring leading Hollywood actors of the era. Approximately 945 episodes were broadcast during its long run, and more than 900 still exist. The protagonist was usually a normal person, suddenly dropped into a threatening or bizarre situation. Solutions were withheld until the last possible second, and evildoers were usually punished by the end. We present to you Suspense on HOJO Radio.
Suspense. This is the Man in Black, here again to introduce Columbia's program, Suspense. From Hollywood, we bring you as star, Mr. Orson Welles, who this evening begins a 4-week engagement as guest of these proceedings. In the interest of prime suspense, Mr. Welles and the producer of this series have scheduled 4 radio stories which they feel are particularly distinguished in our chosen field. The first of these is The Most Dangerous Game by Richard Garnell. And so with the performance of Orson Welles in the character of General Zaroff and Keenan Wynn as Sanger Rainsford, who learned from Zaroff what was the most dangerous game, we again hope to keep you in suspense.
Time. Any moment now he may come in, and when he does, I'm going to kill him. It's him or me. And I'm going to do my best to make it him. Or maybe it sounds crazy to you. I guess it does. Would have sounded crazy to me a few days ago when I was with Whitney on the yacht. I was on a pleasure trip. A pleasure trip. How could I or anyone realize then the horror and torment I was to go through? How was I to know of Yvonne? And the death swamp, and the hounds. How was I to know of Zaroff? Think of it. It was only 4 nights ago that the ship went down. We'd been talking about this island, Ship Trap Island, Whitney said it was called on the charts. I was sleepy and started on down below to turn in. I was mixing myself a nightcap when I looked up and saw it. A tremendous reef racing at us out of the fog. I screamed out a warning, but it was too late. We were right upon it. Standing safe out on the prow, but the force of the explosion hurled me into the blood-warm waters. Terrified at the suddenness and surprise, my stomach weak and sick at the thought of the others. The sea was eddying furiously around the sinking remnants of the ship. And a certain cool headedness came to me and made me swim desperately away, or I might not have lived to go through the horror which was soon to come. I struck out to the right in the direction of the island about which Whitney had been telling me. I had no recollection of how long I swam, but all at once I heard the muttering and growling of the sea breaking on the rocky shore. With my remaining strength, I dragged myself from the swirling waters. All in, gasping, my hands raw, I at last reached a flat place at the top. I flung myself down at the jungle edge and tumbled headlong into the deepest sleep of my life. When I awoke, I was in a strange place, having no idea how I had got there.
Well, Yvonne, our friend seems to be awakening.
Where is this? Where am I?
Do not be alarmed, my friend. My man Ivan found you out on the cliff and brought you here to be taken care of.
Oh. Well, thank God there's life on this island. I hardly believed.
Few people do. Yes, you are quite safe here in my castle, Mr.
Rainsford.
Yes.
Rainsford. I'm Sanger Rainsford of New York.
Rainsford? Sanger Rainsford?
Yes.
Well, it is indeed a very great pleasure and honor to welcome you, Mr. Sanger Rainsford. You're the celebrated hunter, are you not?
Yes. You know me?
By reputation only. I've read your book about hunting snow leopards in Tibet, you see. My name is General Zaroff. I am not English, Mr. Rainsford, but I went to a good school. Perhaps you recognize the colors of my tie. No, it makes no difference. I've lived too long in the jungle to be a snob.
Well, I can't tell you how happy I am to meet you, General.
And I can't tell you how happy I am to meet you, Mr. Rainsford. But come, we shouldn't be chatting here. We can talk later. You must be hungry.
Yes, I am, rather. What?
Ivan thought you'd like a robe. He's drying your clothes for you.
Oh, thank you.
Ivan's an incredibly strong fellow, but you mustn't mind his looks. His ears were cut off in battle, and he has the misfortune to be deaf and dumb. He is sensitive about his appearance. A simple fellow, really, but I'm afraid a bit savage.
Oh?
He's been in our family for years. Follow Ivan, if you please, Mr. Rainsford. I was about to have my luncheon just before you awoke. We can have it together now. Does the robe fit you all right?
Oh, yes, perfectly, thanks.
I'm so glad.
You have quite a collection of heads here. Lions, tigers, elephants, moose, bears. Oh, I don't believe I've ever seen a more perfect specimen.
They are nice. I take great pride in them.
You have good cause.
Coming from you, Mr. Rainsford, that is a great compliment. And here we are. You sit over there.
Thank you.
Not at all. Right, Ivan? We do our best to preserve the amenities of civilization here. Please forgive my any lapses.
Oh, of course.
Yes. Well off the beaten track, you know. Shoo-shoo. 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 This is my little pet, Mr. Rainsford. As a hunting falcon, Shoo-shoo is of no further usefulness in the field. But I am fond of its company. Am I not, little sweetheart? Patience, my darling. I know you're hungry, my dear. We hunt tonight.
Your heads are really remarkable, General. That Cape buffalo is the largest I've ever seen.
Yes, that fellow. He's a monster.
Did he charge you?
Hurled me against a tree, fractured my skull, left me this scar. And I got the brute.
I've always thought the Cape buffalo is the most dangerous of all game.
No, you're wrong. Wrong, sir. The Cape buffalo is not the most dangerous game. Ivan, the wine.
How does he understand you?
He reads my lips. Think you like this champagne, Mr. Rainsford? Ivan chills it expertly. No, the Cape buffalo is not the most dangerous game. Here in my preserve on this island, I hunt more dangerous game.
Oh, is there big game on this island?
The biggest.
Oh, really?
Oh, it isn't here naturally, of course. I have to stock the island.
What have you imported, General? Jaguars?
Jaguars. I hope you like filet mignon, Mr. Rainsford.
I do very much, thank you. Is it jaguars, General?
No. Hunting jaguars ceased to interest me some years ago. I exhausted their possibilities, you see. No thrill left in jaguars, you understand? No real danger. I live for danger, Mr. Rainsford. We will have some capital hunting, you and I. I shall be most glad to have your company.
Yes, but
I'll tell you, you'll be amused, I know. I think you may say in all modesty that I've done a rare thing. Yes, I've invented a new sensation. May I pour you another glass of champagne, Mr. Rainsford?
Thank you, General.
God makes some men poets. Some he makes kings, some beggars. Me he made a hunter. My hand was made for the trigger. My father once said that. Made for the trigger. My whole life has been one prolonged hunt. I've hunted every kind of game in every land. It'd be impossible for me to tell you how many animals I've killed. Grizzlies in your Rockies, crocodiles in the Ganges, rhinoceroses in East Africa. This is in Africa, by the way. That Cape Buffalo hit me and laid me up for 6 months. As soon as I recovered, I started for the Amazon to hunt jaguars, for I'd heard they were unusually cunning. They weren't. They were no match at all for a hunter with his wits about him, the high-powered rifle. I was bitterly disappointed. I was lying in my tent with a splitting headache one night. A terrible thought pushed its way into my head. Hunting was beginning to bore me. And hunting, remember, had been my life. I've heard that in America, businessmen often go to pieces when they give up the business that's been their life.
Yes, that's so.
I had no wish to go to pieces. I must do something. Now, mine is an analytical mind, Mr. Rainsford. Doubtless, that is why I enjoy the problems of the chase.
Oh, no doubt, General.
So I asked myself why the hunt no longer fascinated me. You are much younger than I am, Mr. Rainsford, and have not hunted as much, but you perhaps can guess the answer.
Well, what is it?
Simply this. Hunting had ceased to be what you call a sporting proposition. It had become too easy. I always got my quarry. Always. It's no greater bore than perfection. Cigarette?
No, thank you.
No animal had a chance with me anymore. Not a chance. That is no boast. It is a mathematical certainty. The animal had nothing but his legs and his instinct. Instinct is no match for reason. When I thought of this, it was a tragic moment for me, I can tell you. It came to me as an inspiration. What I must do.
And that was?
I had to invent a new animal to hunt.
New animal? Oh, you're joking.
Not at all. I never joke about hunting. I needed a new animal. I found one. So I bought this island, built this castle, and here I do my hunting. The island's perfect for my purposes. There are jungles with a maze of trails in them, hills, swamps.
Yes, but the animal, General Zorro.
It surprised me with the most exciting hunting in the world. No other hunting compares with it for an instant. Every day I hunt. I never grow bored now. For I have a quarry with which I can match my wits.
Yes, but you still haven't...
I wanted the ideal animal to hunt, so I said, what are the attributes of an ideal quarry? And the answer was, of course, it must have courage, cunning, and above all, it must be able to reason.
Well, no animal can reason.
My dear fellow, there is one that can.
One? But you can't mean...
And why not?
Well, I can't believe you're serious, General Zorro. You're just joking.
Joking? I'm quite serious. Speaking about hunting.
Hunting? You're speaking about murder.
Oh, dear me, that unpleasant word. I think I can show you that your scruples are quite ill-founded.
Yes?
I hunt the scum of the earth. Sailors from tramp ships, lascars, Japs, mongrels, a thoroughbred horse, a hound is worth more than a score of them.
But these are men.
Precisely, that is why I use them. It gives me pleasure. They can reason after a fashion, so they are dangerous.
But where do you get them?
We visit my training school. It is in the cellar. I have about a dozen pupils down there now. They're from the Spanish bark San Lucar that had the bad luck to go with the rocks up there. A very inferior lot, I regret to say. Poor specimens, more accustomed to the deck than to the jungle. Another glass?
No.
It's a game, you see. It's a sort of game. I suggest to one of them that we go hunting. I give him a supply of food and an excellent hunting knife. I give him 3 hours start. I am to follow, armed only with a pistol of the smallest caliber and range. If my quarry eludes me for 3 whole days, he wins the game. If I find him, he loses.
Suppose he refuses to be hunted.
Oh, I give him his choice, of course. He need not play that game if he does not wish to. If he does not wish to hunt, I turn him over to Ivan. Ivan once had the honor of serving as official knouter to my old king, and he has his own ideas of sport. Invariably, Mr. Rainsford, invariably they choose the hunt.
And if they win?
To date, I have not lost. I do not wish you to think me a braggart, Mr. Rainsford. Many of them afford only the most elementary sort of problem, I assure you. Occasionally I strike a Tartar. Shoo remembers the Tartar, don't you, darling? Yes, he almost did win. I eventually had to use the hounds. See? Wait a moment. I'll open the window. Hello, boys! Rather good lot, I think. They're let out at 7 every night. If anyone should try to get into my castle or out of it, something extremely regrettable would occur to me. But enough of this. Come, I'll show you a collection of heads I'm quite sure you've never seen before. Join me in the library for coffee.
I hope that you will excuse me tonight, General. I'm really not feeling well at all.
Indeed. I know what it is. My old complaint. Ennui, boredom. You need some excitement. Tonight we'll hunt. Hey, Mr. Rainsford. You and I.
You're wrong, General. I won't hunt. I won't murder.
As you wish, my friend. The choice rests entirely with you. But may I not venture to suggest that you will find my idea of sport more diverting than Ivan's?
You...
My dear fellow.
You don't mean that you plan to hunt me?
My dear fellow. Have I not told you? I always mean what I say about hunting. This is really an inspiration. I drink to a foeman worthy of my steel at last.
I simply can't believe it. This must be some sort of dream.
You'll find the game worth playing, Mr. Rainsford. Think of it, your brain against mine, your woodcraft against mine, your strength, your stamina against mine. Outdoor chess. And the stake is not without value, eh?
And if I win?
I'll cheerfully acknowledge myself defeated if I do not find you by midnight of the third day. My sloop will place you on the mainland near a town. Well, you can trust me. I give you my word as a gentleman and a sportsman. Of course, you in turn must agree to say nothing of your visit here.
I will agree to nothing of the kind.
Oh. Well, in that case. But why discuss that now? 3 days hence we can discuss it over a bottle of Veuve Clicquot unless... Well, your choice, Mr. Rainsford.
I'm a hunter. You know my choice.
Ivan here will supply you with hunting clothes, food, and knife. I suggest you wear moccasins. They leave a poorer trail. I suggest, too, that you avoid the big swamp in the southeast corner of the island. We call it Death Swamp. There's quicksand there. Well, I must beg you to excuse me now. We always take our siesta after our lunch. Don't we, Shoo-Shoo? Come, my little pet. You'll hardly have time for a nap, I fear, Mr. Rainsford. You'll want to start, of course. I shall not follow till dusk. Hunting at night is so much more exciting than by day, don't you think? Well, au revoir, Mr. Rainsford. Au revoir.
I'd fought my way through the bush for 2 hours, repeating to myself over and over again, I must keep my nerve. I must keep my nerve. My whole idea at first was to put distance between myself and General Zaroff. And to this end, I had plunged along through the thicket, spurred on by the sharp rowels of something very much like panic. Now I had got a grip on myself. I'd stopped. I was taking stock of the situation. I saw that straight flight was futile. Inevitably, it would bring me face to face with the sea. Well, I'll give him a trail, I muttered. And I struck off from the rude path I had been following and into the trackless wilderness. I made a series of intricate loops. I doubled back on my trail again and again, recalling all the lore of the fox hunt, all the dodges of the fox. Night found me exhausted, my hands and face lashed by the branches on a thickly wooded ridge. My need for rest was imperative, and I thought, I played the fox. Now I must play the cat of the fable. A big tree with a thick trunk and outspread branches was nearby, and taking care not to leave the slightest mark, I climbed up and stretched out on one of the broad limbs. Rest brought me new confidence and almost a feeling of security. Even so expert a hunter as General Zaroff cannot face me here, I assured myself. An apprehensive night crawled slowly by, my mind keenly alert for any sound, any warning. Towards the dawn, an instinct I never knew existed, like an animal must possess, impelled me to look far off in the distance on a westerly direction. Sure enough, following the trail with the sureness of a bloodhound came General Zaroff. Nothing escaped those searching black eyes. No crushed blade of grass, no bent twig, no mark, no matter how fine in the moss. My heart pounding furiously, I slid down quickly from the tree and struck off again into the woods. I knew I had to do something desperate. I knew that I had little time in which to do it. 300 yards from my hiding place, I stopped where a huge dead tree leaned precariously on a smaller living one. Throwing off my sack of food, I took my knife from its sheath and began to work with all my energy. The job was finished at last, and I threw myself down behind a fallen log 300 feet away. I did not have to wait long.
Patience, my darling. You'll be fed. Rainsford.
Got him.
Well, Rainsford? If you are within sound of my voice, as I suppose you are, let me congratulate you. Not many men know how to make a maline man-catcher. Luckily for me, I too have hunted in Malacca. You are proving interesting, Mr. Rainsford. Very interesting. The tree brushed my shoulders. I jumped back. I'm going to have a wound rest. Only slight. But I shall be back, Mr. Rainsford. I shall be back.
It was flight now, a desperate, hopeless flight that carried me on for hours. I don't know where I got the strength. I kept telling myself over and over again that I must keep my nerve. That I was competing with a monster, a super huntsman. Dusk came, then darkness, and still I managed to press on. The ground grew softer under my moccasins. The vegetation grew ranker, denser. Insects bit at me savagely. Suddenly, as I stepped forward, my foot sank into the ooze. I tried to wrench it back, but the muck sucked viciously at my foot like a giant leech. With a violent effort, I tore my foot loose. I knew where I was then. Death's swamp and its quicksand. But the softness of the earth had given me an idea. I stepped back from the quicksand a dozen feet or so and began to dig. When the pit was above my shoulders, I climbed out and from some hard saplings cut stakes and sharpened them to fine points. These stakes I planted in the bottom of the pit with the points sticking upwards. As fast as I could, I wove a rough carpet of weeds and branches and with it covered the mouth of the pit. Then, wet with sweat and aching with tiredness, I crouched behind the stump of a lightning-charmed tree. Oh, I knew Zaroff was coming. I could hear the paddling sound of his feet on the salt earth. Zaroff was coming, and coming fast. He was not feeling his way along foot by foot. Crouching there, I could neither see him nor see the pit. I lived a year and a minute, frozen, every muscle tensed.
Rainsford. Very good. You've done well. Your Burmese tiger pit has claimed one of my finest towns. Again you score. I think, Mr. Rainsford, I'll see what you can do against my whole pack. I'm going back to get them now. Thank you for a most amusing evening.
At daybreak, lying near the swamp, I was awakened by a sound that made me know I had new things to learn about fear. It was a distant sound, faint and wavering, but I knew it. It was the baying of a pack of hounds. I could do one of two things. I could stay where I was and wait. That was suicide. I could flee. That was postponing the inevitable. I had put my very last hope into that tiger pit. For a moment I stood there thinking. All at once an idea that held a wild chance came to me, and tightening my belt, I headed away from the swamp. The baying of the hounds drew nearer. They would be on me any minute now. My mind worked frantically. I thought of a native trick I had learned in Uganda. I caught hold of a springy young sapling, and to it fastened my hunting knife with the blade pointing down the trail. With a bit of wild grapevine, I tied back the sapling. Then I ran for my life. The waves that terrifying voices as they heard them and felt the fresh scent. I knew then how an animal at bay feels. At last I had to stop to get my breath. The baying of the hounds stopped just as suddenly. And with it my heart stopped too. They must have reached the knife. Excitedly I shinnied up a tree and looked back. My pursuers had stopped all right. But the hope that had been in my brain when I climbed died. For in the shallow valley I saw that General Zaroff was still on his feet. But Ivan was not. Apparently he had come along to hold the hounds. The knife, driven by the recoil of the springing tree, had splintered through his chest. I'd hardly tumbled to the ground when the pack took up the cry again. Nerve, 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 I panted as I dashed along. A blue gap showed between the trees dead ahead. The hounds were almost on top of me. I forced myself on towards that gap. I reached it. It was the shore of the sea. Across the cove, I could see the gloomy gray stone of the castle. 20 feet below me, the sea rumbled and hissed. I hesitated. I heard the hounds. Then I leaped far out into the sea. The sea was good to me. And I'm here safe in the General's bedroom waiting for him. 3 days are up, and I've eluded him. But now I must go further. In a moment we will meet, he and I, and he will be unarmed. Only one of us is going to live. You understand that now?
Quiet, Shushu. Shushu! You must be patient, dear. You must forgive me. You're hungry, I know. Shushu. Rainsford.
General.
Rainsford. How on earth did you get it?
Swam. I found it easier and quicker than walking through the jungle.
I congratulate you. Extraordinary. You've won the game.
Oh, no, General. I'm still a beast at bay. Here. Get ready, General Zaroff.
Swords?
Yes, 2 of them.
I see. Oh, very good. Very good, Rainsford. One of us, then, is to furnish a repast for the hounds. The other will sleep in this very excellent bed. Excellent. On guard, Rainsford.
Just as my late host said it would be. A very excellent bed.
closes The Most Dangerous Game by Richard Connell, starring Orson Welles. Tonight's tale of suspense. Mr. Wells was General Zaroff, and Keenan Wynn, Rainsford. This is your narrator, the Man in Black, who conveys to you Columbia's invitation to spend this half hour in suspense next week, same time, when Orson Welles will again be our star in Sir Arthur Conan Doyle's story, The Lost Special. The producer of Suspense is William Spear, who tonight also directed the broadcast, and who, with Bernard Herrmann, the conductor, Lucien Mollowitz, who composed the original score, and Private Jacques Anson Fink, the radio author, collaborated on tonight's Suspense.
Ladies, here's a sensational beauty tip direct from Hollywood. When you want your hair to look its radiant best for an important date, do this the night before. Give your hair a glamour bath with Kreml shampoo.
I certainly agree with that, Mr. Bell. And you know, Kreml shampoo is the shampoo used by those famous beauties, the Flowers models.
Kreml shampoo has been especially developed to glamour bathe each tiny strand of hair so that it fairly radiates natural, dazzling highlights. It leaves the hair simply gleaming with natural, glossy luster. And what's more, your hair stays that way for days.
And please bear in mind that Kreml shampoo is not a soapless shampoo. It's not a cream shampoo. It's not a drying detergent. It's entirely different.
Yes, Kreml shampoo uncovers all the natural highlights that lie concealed in every woman's hair. Yet it never dries the hair. In fact, Kreml shampoo has a built-in oil base which helps keep the hair from becoming dry or brittle.
Kreml shampoo whips up a luxuriant, active foam, even in the hardest water. It rinses out so easily and never leaves any dull, soapy film.
So, ladies, why not buy a bottle of Kreml shampoo at any drug counter and glamour bathe your hair to tantalizing loveliness? Kreml, Kreml shampoo.
HOJO Radio, where the classics come alive.
Suspense. For you men and women in the armed forces of the United Nations, we present one of America's top spine tinglers. A radio rebroadcast of a program dedicated to the mysterious, the unusual, and sometimes the supernatural. A program of suspense.
The producer of Suspense asks you to almost believe that the following is true. Very well. Standing beside me, surrounded by two guards, is a man who in a few short hours is to be put to death in the electric chair. His last request to the warden was that he be allowed to speak on this program and reveal what he calls some startling information. The warden naturally turned to us, and we at once complied, anxious at all times to do anything, however strange, that will hold our listeners in suspense. All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm speaking correctly?
Yes, right here, sir.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, this broadcast will never be completed. I'm going to tell you a story. The story involves a number of famous and influential people here as well as abroad. These people have received warning from me, and I'm sure all of them are making it a point to listen to me now. I shall not name these great, these rich, these influential gentlemen until my story is over. They will recognize the story. They will remember me. They will take the necessary steps for my reprieve. I shall expect a full pardon and safe conduct to a neutral country. These are my terms. I shall expect word of this to be brought to this studio during this broadcast. But as I have warned you, this broadcast will never be finished. You will never hear those names. It is certain my price will be paid. I am presently under sentence of death for my activities in the matter of refueling German submarines in the Caribbean. My full confession has been reproduced in the popular press. You have read it and you know the details. It is the least ingenious of my exploits and my first failure. So much for it. The story I shall tell you tonight occurred many years ago, but concerns, as I have said, many now living. It will interest you, I hope. I know it will interest them. Very well, then. On the 3rd of June, 1925, in Liverpool, a man who gave his name as Monsieur Louis Caratel asked to see Mr. James Bland, the superintendent of the London and West Coast Railway. He was a small man, this Caratel, middle-aged, darkened, with a stoop so pronounced that it suggested some deformity of the spine. He was accompanied by a friend, a man of imposing physique who, from his swarthy complexion, was probably either a Spaniard or a South American. It turned out later that his name was Gomez. One peculiarity was observed in him. He carried in his left hand, fastened to his wrist by a strap, a small leather dispatch case. No importance was attached to this fact at the time, but later events endowed it with much significance. Monsieur Caratel was shown to Mr. Bland's office while his companion remained outside.
How do you do, monsieur? My name is Louis Caratel.
Yes, sir. What can I do for you?
I have just arrived from Central America this afternoon. It is extremely urgent that I reach Paris without a moment's delay.
Paris, eh? That's too bad. Just missed the London Express.
I am not interested in the London Express. Could you provide me with a special train?
Yes, I think that could be arranged. Oh, it's quite an expensive proposition.
Money is of a small importance, monsieur. Time is everything. If you can arrange a special for me in a hurry, you may make your own terms.
Very well. Mr. Hood, will you step over here a moment, please?
Yes, Mr. Bland.
Mr. Hood, here's our traffic manager, Mr. Caratel.
Mr. Caratel.
Hood, I want you to arrange a special for him. He's going to Paris. How's the line? Can you fix him up in a hurry?
Why, yes, I believe so, Mr. Bland. The line is clear through Manchester, and engine 247 at the Rochdale is on the tracks now. It could be ready, say, in 15 minutes.
Good. Who's available for the trip?
Engineer Smith, sir. And I can put James McPherson on as conductor.
Well, there you are, Mr. Caratel. Simple as that. Attend to everything right away, will you, Hood?
Yes, sir.
These men, Monsieur Smith and,
McPherson?
McPherson, are they trustworthy?
Oh, yes. Of course. McPherson's been with the company for years, and I'm sure Smith, although new, is an expert engineer.
Bien. Thank you, monsieur. I am deeply indebted. You have been most considerate.
At 4:31 exactly by the station clock, the special train with Caratel and Gomez steamed out of the Liverpool station. The line at that time was clear, and there should have been no stoppage between Manchester. At 6:15, considerable surprise and some consternation was caused among the officials at Liverpool by the receipt of a wire from Manchester to say that the special had not yet arrived. An inquiry directed at once to St. Helens, which is a third of the way between the two cities, elicited the following reply.
To James Bland, Superintendent, Liverpool. Special passed here at 4:52. Well up to time. DOJO, St. Helens.
The wire was received at 6:40. At 6:50, a second message was received from Manchester.
No sign of special as advised by you.
And then, 10 minutes later, a third, more bewildering.
Presume some mistake is proposed running of special. Local train from St. Helens, timed to follow it, has just arrived and has seen nothing of it. Kindly wire advices. Manchester.
The matter was assuming a most amazing aspect. Although in some respects the last telegram was a relief to the authorities at Liverpool. If an accident had occurred to the special, it seemed hardly possible that the local train could have passed down the same line without observing it. And yet, what was the alternative? Where could the train be? A telegram was dispatched to each of the stations between St. Helens and Manchester, and the superintendent and his traffic manager waited in the utmost suspense at the instrument for the series of replies. The answers came back in the order of questions, which was the order of the stations beginning at St. Helens.
Special passed here, 5 o'clock. Collins Green.
Special passed here, 5:06. Earlstown. Special passed here, 5:10. Newton. Special passed here, 5:20. Kenyon Junction.
No special train has passed here. Barton Moss.
Hood, this is unique in my 30 years of experience.
I can't understand it, Mr. Bland. The special has gone wrong between Kenyon Junction and Barton Moss.
And yet there's no siding between the two stations. Special must have run off the rails, jumped the track.
But how could the 450 Parliamentary pass over the same line without seeing it?
There's no alternative, Hood. Absolutely must be so. Possibly the local may have observed something which may throw sunlight on the matter. We'll wire to Manchester for more information, and to Kenyon Junction with instructions that the line be examined intently as far as Barton Moss.
The answer from Manchester came within a few minutes.
No news of missing special. Driver and guard of local train positive no accident between Kenyon Junction and Barton Moss. Line quite clear and no sign of anything unusual. Manchester.
This is lunacy, Hood. Does a train vanish into thin air in England in broad daylight? The thing's preposterous. An engine, a tender, car, 5 human beings, and all lost on a straight line of railway. It's impossible.
A month elapsed, during which both the police and the company prosecuted their inquiries without the slightest success. Mr. Bland, at the end of this period, offered his resignation. It was accepted. The affair remained unsolved. A reward was offered and a pardon promised in case of crime, but they were both unclaimed. Every day the public opened their papers with a conviction that so grotesque a mystery would at last be solved, but week after week passed by, and a solution remained as far off as ever. Then a new and most unexpected incident occurred. This was nothing less than the receipt by Mrs. McPherson of a letter from her husband, James McPherson, who had been conductor of the missing train. The letter, which was dated July 5, 1925, was posted from Mozambique, Portuguese East Africa, and came to hand upon the July 14th.
My dear wife, I've been thinking a great deal, and I find it very hard to give you up. I try to fight against it, but it will always come back to me. I send you some money, which will change into 20 English pounds. This should be enough to bring you here. Things are very difficult with me at present, and I'm not very happy, finding it so hard to give you up. So no more at present. From your loving husband, James McPherson.
For a time, it was confidently anticipated that the letter would lead to the clearing up of the whole incident. As directed, Mrs. McPherson sailed to Portuguese East Africa. She stayed in Mozambique for some time, but heard nothing from the missing man. Finally, she returned to Liverpool, and so the matter stood. And has continued to stand right up to the present moment. Incredible as it may seem, nothing has transpired during those 18 years which has shed the least light upon the extraordinary disappearance of the special train which contained Monsieur Caratel and his companion, Mr. Gomez, and McPherson, the conductor, Smith, the engineer, the fireman named Slater. And now, after all this time, I shall clear up the entire affair. And unless I hear from those so highly respectable gentlemen who were my employers and who are completely implicated in the crime, unless I hear from them before I'm finished, their names will be revealed on this broadcast. Take final warning, gentlemen. You know I mean what I say. If you are smart, you are at this moment arranging my reprieve. I must remind you, time is short. You have just 6 minutes. Now, for the interest of my other listeners, I shall resume the story of the lost special. In a word, there was a famous trial in Paris in the year 1925, perhaps you recall it, in connection with a monstrous scandal in politics and finance. How monstrous that scandal was can never be known except by such confidential agents as myself. At stake were the honor and careers of many of the chief men of Europe and the United States. A secret committee was formed to manage the business. Some subscribed to the committee who hardly understood what were its objects, but others understood very well. They can rely upon it that I have not forgotten their names. You think I could forget your names, gentlemen? You pillars of the community, great, rich, respected, honorable men. Do you remember that day in May 1925? The fashionable country club, remember? And the golf game that was played there that spring morning? Ladies and gentlemen, that was the strangest golf game ever played in the history of this world.
Look at that drive. I've been playing badly all morning.
You topped it, Senator. Perhaps you're a little nervous.
I beg your pardon?
May I join your game?
Well, I'm not sure.
Not
that we
sure
should-
of what? Of me? Promise you, gentlemen, you can be very sure of me. I'm the man you're supposed to meet. The distinguished congressman here can vouch for me.
Yeah, he's the one, all right. This is Delerniak. Mr. Delerniak, may I present...
My name is not really Delbarton, gentlemen, but I am sure that bothers you no less than it does me. Besides, there is no need for introductions. I know everyone present by sight and by reputation. My drive, I believe. Thank you. Not so good. 200 and, about 50 yards. I hope I'm not going to continue in this way.
You're sure we can talk safely here, Frank? How do we know
Please
that...
set your mind at ease. We shan't be overheard in the middle of a golf course. There is no convenient hiding place here for dictaphones, even in the rough, where I notice you're playing the greater part of your game, Senator. You must be nervous this morning.
I know, but I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
Well, it's not the superlative course you are accustomed to on your own enormous California estate, sir, but it's going to have to serve our particular purpose. Oh, by the way, let me compliment you on the way you've had your syndicate of newspapers handle the recent strike situation and the editorial which appeared under your own signature this morning. Yes, well calculated to stir up trouble with the labor.
Let's get on with our business.
Yes, Mr. Delerniak...
At your service, sir. And may I suggest we continue our game? I know the absence of caddies is an inconvenience.
Mr. Delerniak,
Certainly.
in June, a month from now in Paris, there will be a most important trial.
Ah, yes.
During its progress...
Pardon me, are you referring to the Sarinsky trial?
Yes. You know about it, then?
Well, certain interesting details. I know something of it. It's my business, after all, to keep myself informed about these matters. It is not for nothing that I am known as the most...
Let me continue, please.
provocateur.
This trial, I'm
Yes.
speaking in the utmost confidence, you understand. This trial could, if certain evidence were introduced, could have a very serious effect upon the prestige and standing of some most important men.
I'm sure
in
of
fact, it could even...
You're shivering, Senator. You find it cold out here?
No. Get on with it, Frank. Get to the point. For heaven's sake, please.
The evidence which one man could bring to the trial could ruin these men. Without it, the trial will collapse for want of facts.
Mhm.
But if this one man arrives in Paris,
Quite evidently, you do not wish him to arrive in Paris.
No.
Gentlemen, you have come to the man. This sounds indeed like the sort of thing which no one in the world can manage with such skill and success as myself. I must admit, however, that my services come rather high.
Well,
It's only natural, since there is only
the
one...
money makes no difference. We have
Relieved
formed
to
a
hear
group, a committee, and we have the command of an unlimited amount of money. Absolutely
good.
unlimited, you
We
hear.
will name people and places now. Who is the gentleman whose appearance in Paris would cause such regrettable embarrassment?
His name is Caratal, Louis
Ah,
Caratal.
Caratal.
He knows everything. He has papers,
Yes,
documents,
I
all the
understand.
evidence.
Where is this Monsieur Caratel at
Well,
present?
he's sailing from somewhere in Central America within the next
America.
2 days. That much we know.
Good. Central America. I have an excellent man down there in Central America. This Caratel, you know anything about him, his personal habits?
No, very little. He's a small man, dark. He has a bodyguard, a great big bruiser named Lopez
Let me
Gomez
see,
or
from
something.
Central America. That would be the Americano Tropicano.
No, but those are my
Their,
ships.
Trips all commence at Liverpool, I believe. That's where the ships dock, and our famous trial is to begin in 3 weeks. That would mean that Monsieur Caratel would go directly to London, and I imagine that once there he would be heavily guarded, since it can be no surprise to him that you gentlemen are not without connections in the British capital.
That's good, clean
You see,
thinking.
this is not so simple as some of my other exploits. A simple assassination. There's your ball, sir. You're playing a Dunlop 38, aren't you?
Huh? Oh, yes, to be sure, yes.
Quite. As I said, a simple assassination, the usual clumsy job, will not do here. The documents might, after all, be found. The bodyguard might survive somehow, and then we have accomplished nothing, not so?
Yes.
Are you going to play?
Yes, of course.
Topped it again, I'm afraid. Shall we proceed? I already have 3 plans in my head, gentlemen. I have a plan for nailing him at the Central American port from which he embarks. I have a plan for his disposal aboard the ship. But in each of these cases, I, Delerniak, will be unable to be present, so there is the chance of failure. I will think of a 3rd plan, gentlemen. I shall sail immediately to Liverpool. On my way there, sitting on the deck in the May sunshine, I shall conceive my 3rd plan. It must be something special. Something very special. Ha, there I am. Is this your famous water hazard? Well, I think a number 7 iron will do it. And thus I undertook to bring about the complete destruction of Monsieur Caratel, his bodyguard companion, Gomez, and his documents. Plan 1 was already out the window, as I found out the next day.
Belerniak, White Sulphur Springs, Virginia. Baby Lou, unable to sleep last few nights, have sent him to visit Aunt Henriette. Will rejoin him on 21st. Love, Jenny.
This telegram from Matagalpa conveyed to me the information that Caratel, possibly sensing danger, had moved from his hotel and gone to stay with friends until his ship sailed. So it was impossible to carry out the idea of the fire in the hotel. His ship leaving on the 21st was the Henriette. On my 4th day at sea, I heard from her.
To Larnac, Baron Carrier. Ship-to-ship communication from Henriette, Tropicana line. Presented Grace your box of chocolates. Louise has given up candy for Lent. Grace still wants us all together for 29th birthday party. Will be really special. Ralph.
This meant that poison had been given to Gomez, the bodyguard, in an effort to get him at least out of the way. He had been unable to succumb to it. He'd thrown off the effects, and is evidenced by the report that we would all be together on the 29th. Now, Caratel had refused to eat the food containing the poison. So much for Plan 2, which was not worthy of me anyway, since there was always the possibility of the bodies being found in the ocean. The man Gomez was carrying the documents in a dispatch case strapped to his wrist, and I must tell you something now. I was glad, mind you, that we had failed so far, for the plan I had conceived on the night I arrived in Liverpool was so magnificent, so absolutely unprecedented in the annals of crime, that I owed it to myself, to my employers, and to history to carry it through. The inspiration came from the words in the code telegram which indicated that Caratel would arrive in London and hire a special train there to convey him from Liverpool. My British agent, Mr. Moore, and I contrived to buy over several officials of the railway. Now, here begins the story. First, the division head, who helped us employ James McPherson, whom we contrived to be the conductor of any special train we designated. Then further, at a sum that would make them independent for life, we bought over an engine driver named Oswald Smith and the fireman John Slater. These men, we arranged with the division head, would be assigned to whatever special train was hired by Caratel. On the afternoon of June 3rd, as I was sitting in my room at the inn at Barton Moss, the call I had been awaiting came through. It was McPherson reporting.
Hello, Mr. Delaniak. We shall be leaving in a few minutes. He's hired the special.
Good.
Smith will be engine driver and Slater fireman. And, of course, I'll be in charge.
What about Moore? Will he be aboard?
Afraid not, sir. He gave them quite a story about having to reach his sick wife and all. But Caratal would have none of it. You said, though, sir, that it didn't matter.
It does not matter. What time will you pass Kenyon Junction?
Let me see, sir. If we leave the next few minutes, we should be there at 5:10.
5:10.
It's a 49-minute run, sir.
45 minutes. I can make it, but delay all you can before you start.
Yes, sir. I guess it's all up to you from now on. Best of luck, sir. Oh, here they come, sir. Goodbye.
And now I went to work. Everything had been prepared for days before, and only the finishing touches were needed. The sidetrack, just before Barton Moss, leading to the abandoned Heartsease mine, had once joined the main line, but it had been disconnected when the mine had been worked out some years before. We had only to replace a few rails to connect it once more. With my small but competent band of workers, we had everything ready well before the special arrived. When it did arrive, it ran off upon the small sideline so easily that the jolting of the switch points appears to have been entirely unnoticed by the two travelers. So, now I have our special train upon the small line which leads, or rather used to lead, to the abandoned mine. You will ask how it is that no one saw the train upon this unused line. I answer that along its entire length it runs through a deep cutting, and that unless someone had been on the edge of that cutting, he could not have seen it. There was someone on the edge of that cutting. I was there. And now I will tell you what I saw. The moment the train was fairly on the sideline, Smith slowed down the engine, and then having turned it on full speed ahead, he and McPherson, with Slater the fireman, sprang off before it was too late. It may be that it was this slowing down which first attracted the attention of the travelers, but the train was running at top speed before their heads appeared at the open window. It makes me smile to think how bewildered they must have been. What a catch must have come to their breath as it flashed upon them that it was not Manchester that was awaiting them, but death. The train was now running at frantic speed, rolling and rocking over the rotten, rusty line, while the wheels made a frightful screaming sound on the corroded surface. I was close to them and could see their faces. Caratel was praying, I think. There was something like a rosary dangling out of his hand. The other, Gomez, roared like a bull, but was drowned out by the incredible noise of the train. He saw me standing on the bank, and when he realized he couldn't be heard, he beckoned to me like a madman, tearing at his wrist and hurling the dispatch box out of the window in my direction. Of course, his meaning was obvious. Here was the evidence that they would promise to be silent if their lives were spared. It would have been very agreeable if it could have been done so, but business is business. Besides, the train was now so much beyond our control as it was theirs. He ceased his howling and gesturing when the train rattled around the curve, and they saw the black mouth of the mine yawning before them. They were struck silent by what they saw, and yet they could not withdraw their heads. The sight seemed to have paralyzed them. I had wondered how the train, running at a great speed, would take the pit, and I was much interested in watching it. One of my colleagues, who had joined me there, thought it actually would jump it, and indeed it was not very far from doing so. It leaped into the air and seemed to hang suspended for a moment. The funnel flew off into the air, and then the van, the car, and the engine were all smashed up into one jumble, which choked the mouth of the Great Pit, and something gave way in the middle, and the whole mass of iron, coal fittings, wheels, woodwork, and cushions crumbled together and crashed into the mine. Was perfect. The deep muddy water standing in the bottom of the pit 200 feet below responded to the intense heat of the engine boilers. It hissed loudly and blew great bubbles of black mire into the air. At the same time, the walls of the pit, loosened by the impact of the train as it struck the opposite side, gave way, and a mighty avalanche of rock and dirt thundered down upon the wreckage of the train as it settled with a low, hissing sigh, and was covered forever by the mud and mire. The vapor hanging in the air shredded off into thin, small wisps, and all was quiet again in the Heartsease mine. And now, having carried out our plan so successfully, it remained only to leave no trace behind us. Our little band of workers at the other end had already ripped up the rails and disconnected the sideline, replacing everything as it had been before. We were equally busy at the mine. The lines which led to it were torn up and taken away. Then, without flurry but without delay, we all made our way out of the country, most of us to Paris, my English agent to Manchester, and McPherson to East Africa. Word in passing about McPherson, who was foolish enough to write to his wife and tell her to meet him in Mozambique. And naturally, we took steps to ensure that this meeting would never come about. I have sometimes thought it would be a kindness to write to Mrs. McPherson and to assure her that there is no impediment to her marrying again. But of the lost special, let the English papers of that date tell how thoroughly we had done our work and how completely we had thrown the cleverest of their detectives off our track. You will remember that Gomez threw his bag of papers out of the window, and I need not say that I secured that bag and brought them to my employers. It may interest my employers now, however, to learn that out of that bag I took 1 or 2 little papers as a souvenir of that occasion. I had no wish to read the information obtained by these papers, but it is now... it's less than a minute before my broadcast is over. And I have received no word. It is the final hour. I see at the other end of the studio the engineer waving his hands at me that my time is almost up. Well, I gave you warning. You had your chance, gentlemen. Very well. Now I reveal your names. And the first name I reveal is that of Charles Watson. Ladies and gentlemen, they're trying murder. I want you to hear these names quickly. I know you will avenge me. The names are...
Delanya, can you hear me? Are you all right? Hey, Bill, play something quick, will you? Theme, curtain music, anything. And so closes the Lost Special by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, starring Orson Welles. Tonight's tale of suspense.
This rebroadcast of Suspense was produced in the United States of America.